What's up, stranger?
Stress. Been looking for work.
What you looking for?
2 ounces of hard white.
Bitch.
People are always asking me, Kiki, the books that you write, is that about you? Is that about your life? I used to rob drug dealers. I used to traffic drugs. I was a savage. I used to get it, and I didn't care who I got it from.
I've been looking for you for 2 weeks. Where is my money?
And now I can sit here and show you guys a glimpse of my life before I turned it around.
I'm gonna ask you one more time, Kiki. Think harder, right? Where's my goddamn money at?
Mrs. Santana, you look stunning. What are you wearing? And tell us about this new venture in the fashion industry.
I'm wearing a piece from my own line. It's called Kais, designed by my brilliant partner and friend, Karen Blackwell.
Wow. Look at Adriana Santana. She's hot. I don't see Louis anywhere, though. I noticed Sheldon Chisholman's family are here. Not to mention the other half-dozen criminals in here.
Oh, no, you don't. We're here to have fun.
But why are you here alone? Where's your recently acquitted husband, Louis?
Louis is back home resting. He has his share of bright lights and cameras. We just want to leave that whole thing behind us.
No work today. We've been here for 5 minutes and you're already profiling people? Come on now.
And what else are you looking to see tonight?
All of my friends and to show off her brilliant work. Everything that you're about to see.
We can't wait for it.
The only reason I invited you is because you're my best friend and we never get to spend time together. Plus, you're killing it in that dress. Here comes Jess. I wanted to introduce you to.
Roger that.
Then why do you have it?
She told me to keep it!
I'll be out in a minute. Stop with the lies!
He's a very flashy Haitian with a penchant for violence. He's no one to play with, Haitian.
Where's my goddamn money at?
Sakura is dead.
Play with me again. I'm tired of hearing you talk all the time. Save it. Save it.
She's my friend. She's my friend.
But I will not give up. I will not give in. And I will not get caught. Time to go hunting.
And the winner is Wes Clark. Congratulations.
Yes, she's my mother.
Rock stars. There is nothing like those wild, rebellious party animals. Entry number 60. When I decided to pursue acting, I never thought it was this difficult after weeks of being homeless, jobless, sleeping on my friends' couches. I'm finally here!
Just take care.
What are you doing?
Yourself. What's going on?
Tribe, they're
Terry.
coming!
Where have you been? I've been calling you on your cell phone all day.
At work.
Faith wake up, dope sick, fiending for a sniff. Left the house, ain't tell her husband she was gone, she just dipped.
Why is it that you are taking large sums of money out of our account every single day?
While her family's at home, she's out there chasing that high. Roaming up and down the block, she run into this pimp guy. He's conversating with her, asked her if she trying to make cash. Next thing you know, she's in front of the pink house selling the ass. Then she gets dope sick again. She need that boy, so she out there searching again. She's tired of her life. For years she done wrong. Now she wanna do right. She go to rehab to get the help she need, and she tell her family.
I'm Yoshi Lomax, superstar attorney at law and fugitive.
So, you're the famous Yoshi Lomax.
Probably more infamous. I'm on the run from the federal government for crimes that I didn't commit.
Gentlemen, I'm Deputy U.S. Marshal Sharon Starr. I'll be taking things from here.
Not to mention being on the hit list of at least 3 of Miami's major crime bosses.
I wanted to apologize in person for leaving so abruptly last night.
Welcome back.
That's Vladimir Kuzetsov, a Russian crime boss. He's been a suspect in over a dozen missing person cases.
I mean, I didn't get here to be this successful for doing things the American way.
I need a list of the jury for my case with Hanju.
Oh, really? What's that worth to you? Oh my God, you're such a...
Mr. Santana is to be released upon processing.
So what do you know about Sheldon Chisholm?
What do you want to know about him?
I really need to know if you're going to take my case. I don't have time to play, Miss Lomax.
Money is not a problem.
You know anything about his case?
It's being handled by agents in my field office.
I've learned that in this game of life, in order to win,
Ready to dance?
you gotta play dirty. You might look at me and see a beautiful, confident, successful woman.
Congratulations, counselor. Yet another win.
But underneath, I'm flawed. I'm broken. And I'm scared. So I have no choice but to run until I can find a way to clear my name.
Miss Lomax is now considered a fugitive of the United States. Catching fugitives is my business, which makes her my suspect. You and your associates are relieved.
Look. She killed one of our own.
But I will not give up.
All right, people, listen up. Get a picture of Miss Lomax out there so the public knows what she looks like.
I will not give in.
Okay. People, we got a game plan. Let's break and execute.
I will not get caught.
Time to go hunt.
So we have the extended version of the dream sequence right here. Sheldon comes to visit Yoshi in her hotel room after their meeting. Yoshi looks a little nervous at first, but then you see things get a little steamy after he throws her against the wall. And right here, Yoshi thinks she has everything under control because that's how she manipulates men, through her sexuality. So In her mind, she has him right where she wants him. You see, that's Yoshi though. She's hot, she's sexy, she's manipulative. She uses sex to get the upper hand on men. Get the win no matter what the cost. And as you can see, this is not exactly the result she was looking for. We shot this scene in Atlanta. Chuck Gomez was the director of photography. Great scene, good acting by Zasha and Wilner.
For pop R&B artist Jamela.
I picked Kelly. Yeah!
Handle this in the morning, please?
No, I think I want to handle this right now. You can give your time to the studio boy, but I think your man can get a few minutes. Alright? Hey, don't walk away from me!
You're hurting me. Stop, please.
Get in the car.
I've been down this roller coaster, around in circles. We go trips around the moon. So confused, so scared, so alive, so unfair. It's so unfair,
Standing next to me is one of the sponsors of tonight's fabulous event, music mogul Lance Wallace. How are you, Lance?
Good evening, Michelle. I'm well, thank you.
Excellent. Now, are you concerned with the recent backlash for the drug charges against your group, Grind Time? And what's the status of the case?
Worth a Billion Inc. and its artists will always maintain its innocence. This is clearly a misunderstanding. And we're here to promote positivity and give opportunity to our people and to all people. That's it.
And so what do you think about Mr. Wallace is here to promote his fashion line? He will only be answering questions about that subject.
Thanks.
So actually we got everything up until the part where you started doing that, so we'll probably start there, but we're going to move in closer and get a closer shot of that. Okay. We'll be done with that.
Okay.
And then I think he wants to do some steady cam stuff, so.
Rock stars. There's literally nothing like those wild parties. All I did was drink and party and go to rock concerts. So I got VIP access to a certain very hot rock star's room.
This was getting a little intense for my liking.
What's your problem? Look, bitch, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you're no better than the rest of us.
Hey, come on, you gotta go. I'll call you.
Hey, what would you say if I were to tell you that rock stars like Terry would pay for your attention and you would be a multi-millionaire because of it?
Y'all, this is Rayon Lawrence, and you're watching Real Talk with the director. Y'all, this is Rayon Lawrence, and you're watching Real Talk.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Nunez, and you're watching Real Talk with the director and the council on the IE Network.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead,
Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Capri, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
This is Vicky Judy. Orange is the new black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Frida Parks. You are listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Nothing more, nothing less. What's going on? Welcome to another edition of Real Talk with the Director and the Jedi Council. I'm the Director. Be with you for the next 120 minutes or so. Give or take. Real Talk's brought to you each and every Monday by B2S Media. We broadcast live via the World Wide Web on youtube.com/IE Network TV and Facebook, aka Meta, also known as the social network, and on Instagram, which we'll be joining. Our Instagram audience will be joining us a little bit later, because we only usually get an hour live on there. I don't know why they changed up where we get that, so they'll probably join us in the second hour. So anyway, it's another day. Welcome back to YouTube. We had a little I don't know, mishap with YouTube, and we got basically suspended our account for a little bit, and we was in punishment. We was on timeout, so we'll try to do better, even though we didn't really do anything. Meaning it was nothing to do with this show. It was with other shows that we have going on. But anyhow, welcome back, our YouTube audience. We definitely missed y'all last week with your comments and your engagement. So thank you for coming back and checking out with us. So what's up with the chat room? You know what I mean? That's cool. So we got a cool show up. We're gonna talk a little bit about Jnathan Majors. Has been a Jnathan Majors sighting. He has popped up. He was at the Hollywood Unlocked Awards that they gave him. Hollywood Unlocked started out as a blog site. They still are a blog site, but they got really big. They're one of those, let's say, one of those internet blog sites that really blew up, right? Jason Lee is he is the founder of Hollywood Unlocked, and he's become a pretty big blogger / podcaster / journalist in his own right. He had a show that he was doing before. He was doing a podcast, like a radio show. Hollywood Unlocked was always a blog site, and they had a YouTube channel. They actually came out and covered one of the premieres when we did the trailer premiere for Playing Dirty in New York City. They covered that very well, I might add, and gave us some really good looks and good coverage on that. So shout out to Hollywood Unlocked. But now, in the last few years, they've been doing what's called the Hollywood Unlocked Awards, where they give out, because they do all types of stuff. They do gossip, they do all of that stuff, right? They're all plugged into the Hollywood industry, but they give their own awards and stuff. So they actually gave Jnathan Majors a Perseverance Award, which is, I think what tends to happen is once one somewhat credible entity acknowledges a person or what have you, an artist, it tends to spread a little bit. Now, I don't know who's going to touch Jnathan Majors yet, but don't be surprised if we see some other stuff, maybe NAACP, maybe a couple other, organizations, especially Black organizations that might decide to also get on the redemption tour bus. So
Um, I guess the question of the day, I put it up at the poll, is are we ready for a Jonathan Majors comeback? That's the poll. Are you ready for a Jonathan Majors? You can either say yes. If you're coming through the door, say yes. This is the poll on YouTube. It's yes or no, right? Yes, yeah, I'm good. I'm excited. I'd like that to happen, or nah, too soon. So we'll get some opinions on that. But are we ready for Jonathan Majors comeback? Do you think it's too soon? Do you think it's gonna work? Um, or do you think his goose is cooked? We'll just figure that out. Also, of course, we'll go over the tournament. We might even be able to start round one. I don't have all of the songs in round one rounded up today. I had a very busy weekend, and I'm working on a film, um, a script, couple of scripts. So it's just a crazy weekend. But we might be able. We'll definitely go over the rankings. We'll go over the songs, and I might be able to gather up the songs during the show, and we go in on it. You know what I mean? Um, and what up, Derek? He says he should have never. John Mayer should have never have been pushed out. Yes, he should be able to come back. Okay, Derek Levis in the building, man. How you doing? I appreciate you chiming in and putting in your insight there. Another gentleman in the industry, with us. He's follows the entertainment business. He's in the entertainment business. He's an artist himself, a photographer, and uh, yeah, we appreciate that. I think I'll answer that as well. I think I agree with you there. Obviously, over here at Real Talk, we've always been champion for Jonathan, Mr. Majors. We thought that it should have never came to this, but it did, and what are you gonna do? But I do believe, yeah, he should be quote unquote allowed to come back, and we go from there. I'm willing to be honest with you. I'm hoping and excited if it happens. I want the magazine Dreams film to get distributed and put out because I'm anxious to see his performance on that. He's gotten great reviews, you know. He's gotten great reviews, man. Yeah, exactly what Derek just said in the chat room. He's a phenomenal performer. He's an incredible actor. It was the exact words he used, and I agree. His performance really got a lot of praise during Sundance of the film magazine Dreams. So I'm hoping it was shelved by Disney, but I did give an update that Disney allowed the company to buy it back or something like that. Um, I think they allowed the original production company to uh, acquire it back so they can go and get distribution elsewhere, but Disney's not going to distribute it. So um, that's cool. As long as it can get distributed, that's all we care about. I mean, hell, I don't care. You go ahead and put it on Tubi, as far as I care. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Tubi. I got a few movies on there, but what I'm saying is I'll watch it. Even if it doesn't go to theaters, I'll still definitely watch it. You know, so it's just really, yeah, he's Disney, yeah, Disney buying itself. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's really just them. They they're not trying to jump. I don't think they're gonna jump on the redemption tour train yet, but they're definitely not gonna distribute that film because that film depicts his character in a negative light, obviously, but he's an actor. He's a character actor. And from what I understand, from what I know from the stuff I've seen his work, he is a character actor. He's a very good actor, so they're calling magazine Dreams, they're calling this his taxi driver, right? They like this is like De Niro. type of performance in Taxi Driver. Like, but it's a great performance from what I understand. I love to see it. Can't wait to see it. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll go over. There's some set photos out here. That's in. I know y'all was looking like, why he keeps looking up? I'm praying. No, I'm looking up to my other screen up here. But there are some set photos from the Superman film. That's funny you just mentioned that. Jack said we did with Superman. What do you know about that? Yeah. I There's set photos. All right. Um, I'll put them up and we'll take a look at it. So far, they've captured, of course, Superman himself in costume and Mr. Terrific. So there's, of course, some set photos. You get a quick look at them. They don't look bad. I'm not in love with the Superman's uniform, like suit right now. I'm not in love with it, but I don't hate it. Um, it takes some getting used to. I'm not, like I said, I try not to be too overly biased because I'm really, really, really a Cavill fan. But I gotta get over it like everyone else if I'm going to watch a Superman movie, right? But this dude, he looks fine. Like he looks like a Superman, I guess. Um, he's nowhere near the physique as Cavill, but who is? Even Christopher Reeve didn't have the physique that Cavill had. Actually, Cavill was the only one who kind of had that muscular build as Superman. Everyone else, Superman, you just gotta have the height, the presence, the jawline, and the little curl that comes down. And you're good. And the blue eyes. You gotta have those too. So as long as you have those, you can pretty much anybody with Superman. Think about all of the Superman actors we've had from movie to television, right? Freaking Dean Cain was Superman, which I hated him as Superman. I couldn't stand it. Rest in peace to my mom. She loved the Lois and Clark Adventures of Superman. I hated that show. I thought that show was garbage, but you know, hey man, moms loved it. I'm like, yo, that show broke so many rules. Not just broke so many rules, it was just like whatever. I don't want to get on it, but the outfit is it's okay. I mean, the emblem is dope. I just don't like some of the way that I don't know if it's gonna show like that on camera though. That's the thing. I don't know if they plan on doing anything to give you, a little CGI on the costume a little bit. I'm not sure. It might. It might. You know. There's Derek said he respects it. Respect the outfit. You know, the Henry Cavill outfit is where it was for me. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, the Cavill outfit was cool. I mean, I just loved Cavill's whole presence as him. But like I said, to me, I did not. I couldn't. Jay's like, yo, come on now. I mean, I couldn't mess with the Lois and Clark adventures. Yo, I was like, nah. Son. I love Terry Hatcher. Terry Hatcher was actually a pretty cool Lois. One of the better looking Loises of all the Lois Lanes. Right? Terry Hatcher was a very good looking Lois Lane. Um, I'd have to say top three best looking Lois Lanes. Terry Hatcher's definitely in there. But we'll see. We'll continue on with that topic. Let me just run down the weekend recap and get Ralph in here. He's in the green room right now. Uh, yeah, weekend recap from June 21st to the 23rd. Top 5 movies. Number 5 is the Garfield movie, made 3.8 million this weekend and bringing the total worldwide to 230 million and some change, 0.8 million dollars. Cool, cool, cool. Then we have number 4, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, 3.8 million over the weekend, 385 million worldwide as well. Okay, then you have The Bike Riders, which just seems like a new entry, just came out June 21st. So the Bike Riders has just made 9.6 million over the weekend. That's cool. And it's a 13 million worldwide. Who's in this film? Why do I feel like I remember this film? I didn't watch it though. Number two is Bad Boys Ride or Die, 18.9 million over the weekend, bringing the total worldwide to $289 million. And number one, yet again, Inside Out 2 made another $101.2 million over the weekend. It is now trending at worldwide $728.9 million. It's right at 800, about to hit that 800, not 800, 800. It's going to hit that 800. And it's chasing a Billy right now. It's chasing a Billy. Let's be honest. Inside Out Part 2. I ain't gonna lie, Inside Out 1 had me in my feelings a little bit. That was an interesting little joint there. I remember that one. Just let my little 4-year-old watch it because I guess I'm gonna have to take her out to see this film. Yeah, so that's your weekend recap for June 21st through the 23rd. Yeah, they're killing it right now, man. He said, wait till Deadpool comes out. That's gonna be that's gonna be numbers. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Deadpool is gonna be crazy. Tom Hardy's in the Bike Riders. I did hear in that film. That's probably why it's doing well overseas, doing pretty well overseas. Uh, so yeah, good call out there. Yeah, of course, when Deadpool comes out, we're gonna see old Marvel numbers. When Deadpool we're gonna see the Marvel numbers. We're gonna see what's it called? Infinity Saga numbers. So let's get Ralph in here, man. And Kev, I'm sure, will be joining us soon. Ralph, you in the building. Welcome back, brother. And Ralph, can you hear me?
Hey everybody, what's going on?
There you go.
Hope everybody's doing good out there. Hope everybody's safe. Bad weather across the country.
Yeah, exactly. So Inside Out is just killing it right now.
Yes, I liked it. I didn't like it as much as the first one, but it is very good. A very good movie.
Okay.
Like we said last week, kids, mom, dad, take the kids to go see it and have a good time, and until Despicable Me in 2 weeks.
Right, but I mean, it's only been out 10 days.
Biggest movie
right?
so far. Dune, it took it 4 months. This took 2 weeks.
2 weeks is at almost 800 million. It's by far gonna hit a billy for sure. It's gonna hit the billion mark. It's only been out 2 weeks.
And not for nothing, Disney, not Marvel or Pixar or Star or Lucasfilm. Disney needed this movie to be successful because they'll have probably the two biggest hits of the year. Last year Disney just was like, it wasn't doing it, but they needed both of these two. Both of them will hit a billion, and it's go slowly. Then you start looking down the line. Do you have a $1 billion franchise in the second Moana movie coming out? You got the live action Mustafa movie coming out. That might both of those possibly come close to $1 billion. So
maybe the Mustafa, the Mufasa joint, I can see possibly, yeah. I tell you, it's looking good. Like the 2024 movie lineup is looking good, and I'm hoping that it really gets everything back on track. That's what I'm hoping.
It's coming.
It looks like it looks like it will. I just saw the trailer
for the Nosferatu film, and that
Yeah,
looks
I
amazing.
saw. I don't
That
like
looks amazing.
the release date. I don't like it. Should not that is
Christmas,
a yes.
like
That is not a
December.
Christmas movie. That is a that is an October movie. It should be coming out the first week of October. Catalyze that, But Christmas,
Yeah,
and that's the thing, is that I think Christmas for that type of movie, it could get lost. Could get lost in the sauce.
possibly.
October, yeah, because Christmas,
I
nobody's
mean,
thinking
now
about
December.
Dracula
Now,
for
not
Christmas.
all, as we know, not only Christmas movies come out in December. We know other movies like, some action films and sometimes films that's like, sometimes superhero films, sometimes films like Harry Potter and stuff like that. Those things don't they come out? And they've come out in December, right? I don't know if
Yeah,
it's actually
yeah,
Harry Potter, but
yeah.
yeah.
But though, like Thanksgiving, December, but those things, you can see how that could still do very well. Counter programming with this, but Christmas time, no, I would
Mhm.
not put out
No,
a horror movie, and
Dracula.
this is like it's going to be a stone cold horror movie. I would
Yeah,
not put that.
it looks
It
very horrifying.
right. It does not look like some PG-13. This is like it's going to be an R rated. I would not put that out on Christmas around Christmas time because it's just going to get lost. You know, you bring it out in October. September we got Beetlejuice 2. Roll right from
Hmm.
Beetlejuice into Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Okay, a better combination. What you going to give me Nosferatu after you give me Wicked? No, it doesn't. No, no,
Mm.
no.
Hmm. So it looks like December of this year. There's Night Bitch. That's the name of the movie.
Yeah.
That's what coming out. Lord of the Rings is coming out in December this year. Um. Then you have it's Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. I don't know
Hmm.
exactly what that one is. Then you got Mufasa coming out in December 20th. Then Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Homestead, Baby Girl. I don't know what that is, but and Nosferatu basically the week after Mufasa comes out. Nosferatu.
Exactly. It's supposed to come out. It's
Right.
supposed to come out Christmas Day.
Yeah, I
And
would
it's
push
a
that
and it's a
back if I
wide.
was them. I'd put, if anything, push it to freaking January. Then you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I
I'd
I know
push
I
it to
know
January.
no, I know why they probably thinking maybe an Oscar nom because it's got to play before things Christmas.
They trying
So yeah,
right. They
Oscar
trying to
nomination.
get it in.
But nah, bro. December. You
Oh, it's
whatever box
actually Christmas. It's actually coming out on Christmas,
Christmas
December
Day.
25th.
That's no, that is not the time to
Mm,
be dropping that movie. It's
mm.
October, maybe in early November, but not Christmas. No, Christmas where
Yeah, I don't
it's go.
know. Yeah, that's a little. That's gonna be very interesting, and I sure hope that you know, it. I still hope it does well, but whoa. Bram Stoker's Jay said Bram Stoker's came out in November. Bram Stoker's
Yeah,
Dracula
yes, it
came out in
did. Came out
November.
right around Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, so
But even
exactly. So
but even
why
with
not
that,
why not follow that at least, you know what I mean?
yeah, but even with that one, that was still back in '92. Things are much different today. '92, yeah, the movie might have staying power. Today, nah.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean,
talk. We'll talk.
I think also you got to consider I don't know. I don't know what the analytics are now with the new generation of goers as well. Nosferatu is going to be a film for our generation, I believe. I don't think the newer generation is really going to take to that anyway. They might go just to get a scare, but as we already know, just like the Russo brothers said, who also might there's rumors, I don't know if it's actually official, that they're supposed to be coming back to Marvel, the Russo brothers. But they said once in an interview that, people consume, like we said before, they consume this the new generations, millennials and Gen Z,
they consume content differently. So, including movies, right? So they're not going to be rushing to the movie theaters. The movie theaters are staying alive from our generation, and some of the millennials too. You know that appreciate the ones that paid attention when we were raising them. They're the
Exactly.
ones. They're the ones that still going to whatever. You know, they'll come out for a movie other than a superhero movie. You know, so I think what Jay said too. He said it would hit on Halloween. He said it would hit on Halloween. Definitely, I agree with him, and I agree with you, Ralph. I
Yeah.
think if they would have put it somewhere closer, it didn't have to be. Yeah, even if it was before Halloween or whatever. Because I mean, what is coming out in October? Let me see. Let me run the October movie lineups. Let's see. So right here, October 2024. We got White Bird set in the Nazi occupied France. Okay, then you got Joker, Folie à Deux comes out in October 4th, beginning October. October 4th is Joker, Folie à Deux. So that's definitely a good one. Then we have Devara. I'm not sure what that is. It says part one. What else? Terrifier 3. That's like some sort of horror film. Smile 2 comes out in October. Smile was a pretty big. That actually went over with the youth. That film went over with the
Surprising,
youth.
and was surprising.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah. Venom Last Dance comes out October 25th. So that's pretty much the only one. So I mean, yeah, Nosferatu could fit right in there. There's nothing really. I mean, as long if you go closer to Halloween and away from Joker, you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Go down closer to Halloween. Go down, the 25th, or even even if it's right after Halloween. If it's like the Halloween this year is on a Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Even if you released it on November 1st, Friday. You know what I'm saying? It would still be close. It still would do better. Or if you want, instead of doing the 20, if you didn't want to do the 25th, but I would do the 25th, so it's out for Halloween. Yeah, because all your competing gets on the 25th is Venom.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's you might have a very, very, very strong point there, Ralph. We'll have to see how that works out. Um, I'm definitely gonna see it no matter when it comes out, but I'm just wondering how it's gonna do over there. Whew. So yeah, man, that's that right there. We'll see how that works out, man. So yeah, let me go back to the Superman set photos, right? Let's see if we can bring that down.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. I don't like the suit. It's yes, it go. I don't, because
Yeah.
not for nothing. It goes back to the scheme from the original Superman and Superman Returns and Lois and Clark. I got it, but now that you introduce a darker Superman suit, I think you gotta kind of stay with it. It's like Batman, you
Yeah,
kind of
but
gotta.
the reason why they're not going to do that is because he wants to go completely away from that what was established. Remember, he's trying to bring back the light, bring back the lightness, the lightheartedness of it all. I mean,
It can be lighthearted, but
yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
then
But
if
it's
you
trying
look closer,
part
if
of
you,
one of the main one of the reasons, Ralph, one of the main complaints about the so-called dark Superman was the actual suit, the suit that Cavill wore. There was a lot of complaints from the, whatever you want to call them, the Superman purists. I don't know what to call them. Yeah, but a lot of the complaints came right from that. The suit itself. Oh, the suit is dark and it's this and it's that. So the first thing they were gonna do was lighten up the suit a little bit. Now, like I said, I'm not let's see, I'm gonna share the screen just so I can show the viewers that might not have seen it yet. But here's the suit here, and once again, we're also seeing this raw. We're not seeing what's gonna, we don't know what it looks like when it's lit. We don't know what it looks like, once the camera is on it. It might look a little better. I'm not really in love with the suit either. I said that before the show started. Not loving the suit.
You see, you
Uh,
see the lines in it,
yeah,
but you see the
I
lines
don't.
in it, but you see the
Yeah,
lines in it all around it.
I don't
What
know.
if that
Yeah,
is like for some sort of CGI or something where like they're
could
gonna
be.
add extra, they're gonna make them look
It
bigger
could.
in those areas.
It could be.
Uh-uh.
It very
No.
well could be because I'm wondering. I thought the same thing because number one, this guy isn't very like cut up. I mean, he's in good shape. Don't get me wrong. The actor himself is in
He not,
good shape. He's in great shape, but he's no Henry Cavill.
he's not
So
Henry Cavill.
he's no Henry Cavill as far as his you know, uh, he's no Henry Cavill. We'll just say that as far as that goes. So he is in great shape though, but maybe that's to make him look a little more in shape. I don't know. A little more cut. I'm not sure, to be honest.
I don't know,
I don't
man.
know if those lines are going to be there when we see the movie. That I don't know. Not sure about it. And let's see, we got here. Okay. So here's some other pictures. We have if we can see them if this site is acting crazy. It's unresponsive. Hmm. I'm trying to see some pictures of the guy who's playing Mr. Terrific. Now he looks good. Like he looks pretty authentic. As that character. He's still acting up, so I guess we'll have to. I'll download the pictures and pop them up that way because it's getting a little crazy. But yeah, like I said, okay, I guess so far. I try not to be, too biased because I'm just so you know how it is. I'm all about. I'm a Snyder guy. I'm a Cavill guy. Even if Snyder's not there, I'm a Cavill guy. You know what I'm saying? You could get rid of Snyder because Snyder understands the assignment. He knows these things happen. He can't do it all with his vision. But I'm a Henry Cavill guy. I think he was good. I think he did a good job as both Clark. I think he had an opportunity to kind of separate the two a little bit, and it was refreshing for me to see Clark played, that way a little bit, not the whole, I don't know, bumbling idiot Clark Kent. I don't know if I really wanted to see that again. So, and I get it. He has to be the exact opposite of Superman because that God forbid we look him in his eyes and realize he's actually Superman. So, um, but we'll see. We'll see how they do with this. Yeah. Yeah, Jay said you can smash it. He said it's always like when you see it on film. Yeah, it should be more super. Well, I'll see. I'll see how this goes. I think, like I said, I think those lines in it is there for something other than just it being lines in it. That's what
Yeah,
I
I think so too.
I think it's there for something else. They might add a little CGI to it somehow. We'll see. But I did read that they were going to try to do the suit. They didn't want to do any CGI stuff with the suit. They wanted to be a little more practical. I don't know, because when they filmed with Cavill's suit, a lot of the times the cape was CGI, especially when he was flying. When he's flying, the cape is CGI because they can really do what they want to do with it, right? Um, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with that. We shall see. Um, I did want to bring up the fact that um with Jonathan back with Jonathan Majors. Uh do you think so okay, so have you ever heard of Hollywood Unlocked, Ralph?
Never heard of it before. Never heard of it before.
Okay. Hollywood Unlocked is actually pretty known right now. Once you become an outlet where you can get where all of the big outlets can get, you're starting to be recognized. Period. And Jason Lee can get into all the events that every other person that works for Entertainment Tonight or anybody else, whatever, can get in. You can get in those events, the Rihanna events, the Beyonce events, the this, the event, this event. But they're more of they started more of a blog gossip site. And then it seemed like he started to change, a little bit of his reporting and try to make it more of reporting. But they still do gossip, they still do all that stuff. But they are big. They are the Gen Z millennial version of Entertainment Tonight, basically. That their
Mm.
Entertainment Tonight and other ones maybe mixed with TMZ for the youth because they really broadcast almost solely on the internet. So, which is why you and other people may not have even heard of Hollywood a lot, but they're actually very they're very known and dare I say pretty respected right now as because they have I think they're only respected because they have a big following. Yeah. So you know they have in the last like 2-3 years. That's how they've grown. They've grown so much that they're in a position where they can give their own award show ceremony that they've been doing like maybe 2-3 years, and they've given some awards to some big people, and they've shown up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like they're hey, we're giving an award to so and so, and he can't be here to get it. But no, they're actually been acknowledging a lot of people, and I think they've kind of taking it upon themselves to acknowledge a lot of artists that may not get the acknowledgement from the other mainstream shows and things like that. And I think they definitely made it their business to do something for Jonathan Majors. So they gave him an award during their I don't know, let's see what annual award it is. Like I'm trying to think. It says here blah blah blah. It just says at the annual Impact Awards, which is Hollywood Unlocked. They make the Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards, which took place on Friday. Yeah. But it doesn't say which one it is. It's like it's no more than like the third, annual Hollywood Impact Awards. But anyway, he got that award. He made a speech and fought back tears and this, that, and the other. And so the question is, okay, well, it seems like Hollywood Unlocked might have been the first to really get on board with the quote unquote redemption tour and actually acknowledge him in a positive way. So now I'm wondering if we might we might tend to see someone else do it. Maybe no one super big, but I'm guessing maybe someone that's like a black owned, like an Essence or a maybe NAACP maybe. or not, maybe not them, maybe Soul Train or BET. Somebody's going to get on board, I think, and continue to give him a positive endorsement going forward. What do you think about that?
Look, I mean, see, it's I don't know if this is the same type of scenario with Nate Parker. I don't honestly know. I mean, obviously the two scenarios are vastly different, but I just don't know. Is Hollywood going to look at him the same way look at Nate Parker? Fantastic talent, made a movie that everybody was craving about, was going to be the toast of Hollywood. Something came out and it just derailed him. Now you got Jonathan
Yeah.
Majors. Something came out. He was before that. I mean, come on. He was not only Marvel, Rock, Creed 3. No, he looked, Lovecraft character like he had the world in his hand. This bull happens. Now everybody backing away from him. I can't sit there and say, at least for the next year, is anybody gonna rock with him or put him in the hands of a major franchise, whether it be TV or film? I
Well, I mean,
honestly
major,
don't know.
yeah, yeah. I don't think major, no pun intended. I don't think anything major is coming right away. But what I mean is, what happens is, like I said, Hollywood Unlocked. They're not. I know you never heard of them or what have you, but they do have a huge following,
But you know
and
something, I gotta stop you. This has got nothing to do with their huge following, nothing at all. This is all about some executive in the company sitting there and wanting, or a director or producer wanting to hire majors and sitting there saying, but if we have him in our film or a TV show, will that potentially keep people away from watching this product?
yeah, but
That's
that
what it
wasn't my
boils down to.
question. I get it, but that wasn't my question to you. My question was, do you think I'm not really talking about producers yet or studios? What I'm really talking about was just overall, a lot of times what happens is when someone starts to gives you that acknowledgement. So he got this award, right? From the Impact Awards. A lot of times some people will follow suit. So what I mean is, yeah, it may not be the freaking Academy Awards, and it may not be the Emmys, it may not be the Golden Globes, but it will build its way up. It's got to start somewhere, right? So this is where it pretty much starts. The Impact Awards from Hollywood Unlocked. Okay, cool. So now let's just say the next time the BET Awards come around, they might acknowledge Jonathan Majors with something. I kind of feel like I have a feeling like this quote unquote redemption tour is going to start at the bottom with, say, Hollywood Unlocked, and then maybe move up to someone a little more prominent, like a BT, or maybe even go above that to a NAACP. Yeah.
I, I I'm going to sit there and say no because there's one little factor. While they certainly did give him this award, BET as they would give it based on your performance. He doesn't have a performance for us to sit back if we wanted to give him an award. He doesn't have a performance for us to sit back and sit there and say, "Hey, Jonathan Majors was good." Now, the only thing that you can legitimately give him now is if you want to look at God. Creed 3, no, Creed 3 didn't come out this year. That was last year. So
Mm,
you don't have anything to sit there and say, hey, we're gonna put him into this particular nomination category because we felt he was one of the best things of the year. Anything he's got, he it's not like you're gonna give him a humanitarian award. You're not giving him some sort of lifetime achievement award. You have no other
mm,
reason to give this man an award unless a
mm,
company like BET, NCAA create an award just for him. But are they going to
mm,
do that? Because if you create the award, you can't create it in 2024, 2025, but then
mm,
2026, 27, you delete it. You say, well, it was just a one-time thing. Can't do that one.
right.
You can't put the man into a comeback award because he hasn't come back. He hasn't done anything to warrant. comeback player of the year, comeback personality of the year. So
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of like don't have too many options to really honor him. The only thing you can legitimately do, and this is where I think they could do, is really have him come there, present an award, and then from that point
Yeah.
you see how the
Yeah.
crowd responds to him.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
No, that's exactly where I was going to go next. I said, yeah, that definitely I
right.
could see them doing and getting
Right
on
now,
board.
if he come on the BET stage, which is coming on next week, I believe, if it hasn't taped already, but BET
Mm-hmm.
NCAA, he comes on the stage. Does that will that give, let's say, for example, come next January, Oscar, nomination time? Would that give People's Choice Award or the Screen Actors Guild Award? Will that make him sit there and say, hey, maybe we want to have him come up on stage to present an award? I
Mm-hmm.
think that's going to have to be the way to go, and unless he has a project, he seems to have a project that's been shelved indefinitely, unless they're going to sit there and say, hey, they put it out there, we're gonna see how it does. But right now, you just don't have anything to give him and get him, not even give him an award, put him into a nomination for to actually have a redemption
Right.
thing.
Yeah, he's gonna
Make
have to.
not
He's gonna have to come out. He's gonna have
right,
to come out there and present on a couple different situations.
right.
And come out and present an award. That's actually a good opportunity to. I know that there is a movie. I heard and read that there is a movie that he's working on. I don't think it's filmed yet, but there is as we welcome Kev back to the show. There is a movie that he's working on. It's called man, what was it called? I think it's called Merciless or something like that. Um, it's one of those like Taken type of films. Um,
And see,
yeah.
even with that one,
So
what what he needed to do is, well, I'm looking on this thing. It's not listed for a take. The only thing I see listed for him is something called 48 Hours in Vegas, where he's playing Dennis Rodman. So I guess he's playing Dennis Rodman when Jordan had to come drag him off of what's her
yeah, but I
name.
think he got I think he got dropped from that film. I
Well,
think that
it's
film
still
got
listed.
dropped.
It's still listed on his. I'm looking at his Wikipedia. It's still looking on his Wikipedia
Mhm.
thing. So I mean,
Well, there's a
maybe,
film.
but
There's a film he has on his. It's a film on his IMDb called Merciless. It says it's listed as a horror slash thriller. It says so that's not a Taken, but it says when the woman he loves is overtaken by a malevolent force, a top CIA interrogator is willing to go even darker to defeat it. So it's a horror film. Okay. So yeah, that's called Merciless. And it is directed by Martin Villanova. And also directed the film. What else did he direct? You got anything? Is he a indie director or I'm looking at his
I,
stuff.
I take it y'all talking about Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm. That's the new film that it's
you
in
know,
pre-production right now. But
you
that
know, you know.
I saw something about that not too long ago where they it's like, oh, Jonathan Majors is gonna be, basically got cast in his first film since this situation. And that's what this film is. This is the first film that he got cast in since that situation. And I think it is an indie film. I think it's an indie
That's
film.
I don't no. I think he needs to be cast into a Hollywood film. Not an independent
Nah, I
movie,
mean,
a
not
Hollywood
right
film.
away. As long as he can get something going, because now at this point, indie films, they still get a lot of. Uh, it's better than nothing.
Well,
I
no,
don't
no,
think I don't think him not
I
being cast in a Hollywood film means his career is over. I mean, this
no,
is
no,
this is
no, no.
the
I'm not.
first.
I'm not. No, no. I'm not saying. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying was, I think he needs to get cast into a Hollywood film, not in the leading man status, maybe a supporting role, just a couple of lines, just to get the momentum going. Whereas, let's say it's for sake of this discussion, Spike Lee is about to do his next movie, right?
Yeah.
He's got a role in it that's a couple of lines that Jonathan Majors he may not have thought he said, but you know what? I'm gonna put him in it. It's just a couple of lines, maybe a day of work, but at least that kind of sort of gets the ball rolling. When someone say, "Well, Spike Lee put him into it,"
A
right?
couple of lines is not going to get him. Is not going to get the ball rolling. He needs.
No,
He
no,
needs to have. He needs to have at least at a minimum. He has to have 20 minutes of screen time minimum
that's fine.
throughout the
That's
film.
fine. No, but that's even so fine. But what I'm saying is, it's gotta be. I think it's gotta be. That's still a couple of lines. It ain't like you don't have to be the lead of the movie. You can strictly be a supporting actor. You know, but I think that starts getting the ball rolling. When people say, "Wait a minute," if like Spike Lee, if Clint Eastwood, if the Russo brothers, they had enough faith in him to give him a small little role in the movie. Maybe we need to take another look at him. Maybe start reevaluating how we think it, because
I,
these
I'm
are people.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I honestly believe I think Disney's gonna bring him back as Kang, and it probably won't be. It'll probably be exactly what you're saying, Ralph. If they do bring him back, that'll probably be his kickstart to come back. They'll bring him back as Kang just to kill him off.
No, I don't
Nah,
think they're gonna bring him
I
back
don't
because
think that.
they're already talking about recasting Kang and stuff like that.
Well, they're talking
I
about
think they're gonna
recasting
bring
Kang with multiple Kangs. They're talking about multiple
right.
people playing
But it
Kang.
won't
Yeah,
be. But
I
it
mean
won't be
they're
him.
trying to, and they're only doing that because they're trying to go away from Kang, as a major player going forward. They're kind of like moving away from that. I definitely don't think Disney's bringing him back, but because if Disney wanted to bring him back, they wouldn't have shelved his film that got rave reviews at Sundance.
They would not
So
forget that they wouldn't have shelved where they were going. It was going to be the Kang Dynasty. They've got to shelve the
right.
whole thing and go a different direction. So if they were going to say, let's just put him on the pause a minute to this thing, Lord, they could have created other things around where his presence was in, but he wasn't physically in it until this thing, Lord, and then bring him back. But they were like, nah, Disney is not rolling around with that potential black mark underneath their title. Where it's gonna say you're gonna have parents that say nope, you're gonna have kids that say nope, you're gonna have adults say nope. Then they're not.
Yeah.
Disney. If that was Warner Brothers, yeah, maybe Warner
Yeah,
Brothers.
maybe.
not Disney.
Maybe what, but no, I think what I think is I kind of disagree on both accounts. I definitely don't think Disney's gonna mess with him again no time soon. But I also don't think that he has to be cast right now in a major studio film, because if he's cast in a film that still does, let's say, kind of like what the other film did, if it goes to a festival and does well and he gets good reviews for his performance and stuff like that, I think that will help him, especially if the film does something. And when I say it's an indie film, from what it
It's going to
looks like,
force Disney's
it
hand.
doesn't
If
mean
that
it's like
happens,
an indie film that isn't going to get any, the guy who's behind it has worked on some studio stuff, but you know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that, I mean, he's doing the smart thing. He's grabbing him while he's affordable.
what's
Getting
going to
us.
happen is what's going to happen is if this is going to this kind of sounds like this movie is going to be like the and Russell Crowe is killing it right now. Russell Crowe is in a new movie called Exorcism. He's in another Exorcism movie, and I know it's going to be good because the last one was good. Um, and this time he's the one that's possessed. So this one's going to be pretty good. I had to pass up on it today because I got a doctor's appointment. I got to drive into the city, so I couldn't drive to the movies today. Um, but as far as Jonathan Majors goes, I think something like that. What's going to happen is, I still think Disney is going to pick them back up. But I think what's going to happen is, if this indie film does well, that's going to force Disney's hand to put that movie out that they got on the shelf, and it's either going to go
They,
direct.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish, but I only cut you off because they're done with that film. They've already given the production company the opportunity to get it back, so they can take it and
Oh
take it.
yeah, didn't they say that somebody came and bought it back or something like that? The
Well,
production company got it back.
Disney gave the production company the opportunity to get it back, or acquire it back, so they can take it and try to get distribution elsewhere. So Disney's done. I think
Oh,
Disney's
oh,
done with him altogether. Yeah, they're done with him.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're done with him.
if that's the case, that's going to be their hiccup because now that movie's going to go someplace else, and it's going to get picked up by somebody else. It's
Yeah,
definitely going to
I
get
can
picked
see
up by somebody else.
A24 picking it up. I could definitely see 824 picking it up, like and distributing it. It's gonna be like that, or Miramax, or something like that, or one of them are going to maybe Lionsgate, you know, is gonna distribute that film. You can't not distribute it. It was,
Because
you
that's
know,
all it needs right now is distribution. It doesn't need no other kind of
the
financing because the
film
movie's
is
made.
done. Right, the film is done, and that's what I mean by these little things like this. It only takes one acknowledgement in a positive light for things to start going in that direction. So if, like we said before, and you're right, Ralph, it's none of these other places are gonna make up a bunch of awards to give them. It just so happens that Hollywood Unlocked has what they call a perseverance award that they gave him. You know what I'm saying? The Impact Awards that they gave him. So that just was luck of the draw. Not everyone has those type of awards, and not everyone's going to go making up awards to give him either. But I do think he will start being seen more, especially amongst shows such as like BET, NAACP, maybe like Essence, stuff like that. He's going to start popping out more because number one, he's still with Megan Good, and Megan Good is going to all of these things. So he's pretty much right now, right now he was keeping it low key. Still, you see him pop up on red carpets with her, like just on her arm. So he's starting to get out more again. But I believe what Ralph mentioned. I think that's what's going to happen too. I don't know if it's going to happen on the next. I'm not sure when the next BET awards come out, but I'm sure some people after this might be a little more inclined to offer him presentation, come and present an award at our show. And that will also tell a tale. It won't tell the tale, but it tell a tale on how the audience is receiving him, so to speak. But to be honest with you, the black leave him, you know, way quicker, obviously, and because a lot of the black audience didn't condemn him. Some of them did,
Why
but
haven't they?
they
Why
were,
haven't think he got screwed over? A lot of black people
yeah,
think he got screwed over.
yeah, of
A
course.
lot of white people
A
think
lot,
he got screwed
a lot of
over.
white people got think he got screwed over. Yeah. So just want to let you know. So we welcome our crowd over at IG. Um, we started the feed over there. So welcome IG people. And Yeah, like what Kev just said, a lot of white people think he got screwed over. A lot of people in general. I think it's just a matter of, yes, everyone is sitting in place, but they always, all of this stuff. Hollywood in general is monkey see, monkey do. Once they start, you know, one person to do it, then another person, maybe not, maybe a little bit more stature, will do it. And I think his redemption tour, I'm just calling it that, it's not gonna happen fast where he's gonna be put on a major, and where I do agree with you, Ralph, is yes, ultimately to get back to that level, one of the major studios or major producers have to take a chance and put him in there. And I do agree with you as well. It doesn't have to be a lead. It ain't but I also to Kevin's point, it can't be no 5 lines. You know what I'm saying? It's gotta be something because number one, why would you waste that man's talent anyway? This dude is a phenomenal actor. So if you're gonna put him in your film, you
Yeah,
might as well make him work. Especially
yeah,
if
you
you're
got
getting them cheap at this point. You're
yeah,
gonna get
yeah,
them cheap.
yeah, yeah. You got to make them work. And the other thing too is the other good side to that too is with him being a second or supporting, that also opens him up to being able to hit the talk show circuits. And once the
Right.
talk show circuits
Yeah.
start picking him up,
That's part of it too when he starts
and,
doing
and
more stuff.
particularly because Whoopi Goldberg was talking to him behind the scenes. As
Yes.
soon as he gets
Very,
picked up
very
in a supporting role,
yeah.
the View is going to be one of the first shows that he's
He
probably
goes
going to be
on.
on.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is on a Disney channel. So um but yeah, the I can see the View, Whoopi. She's been very instrumental in talking to him and stuff like that, supporting him. Also, Will Smith is another one who's been supporting him. Obviously, I think Tyler Perry, because I think he said
Yeah,
he thought he thanked those people. So Tyler Perry might put him in something.
Yeah, wait. I gotta stop that one. Look, Jonathan Majors, bro. Don't do a Tyler Perry movie, please. Don't do a Tyler Perry movie. I'm just
Tyler,
saying, no
Tyler
disrespect.
is he got the you see you see the trailer for his new movie, which is pretty much
Yes,
the same movie he's
the
been putting
same
out for the
thing.
last 10 years.
Exactly. So please do not do unless Tyler Perry is doing something that's on the level of For Color Girls. Don't do a Tyler Perry movie because you talked last week. We talked
now,
about
listen,
nah.
or that other movie, or
He
that
gonna
other
be
movie he
there
did, Ralph,
forever.
or
He
that
gonna
other
be
movie
stuck
he
there.
did, Ralph.
Which
What's
one?
that other movie he did? The other one with where with Alfred Widry, um, where her and her friend was like rich,
Yeah.
they like had money or whatever
Okay.
that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
I know.
that that
Yeah.
that, that movie was really good too.
Yes, it was. So, but all the other Tyler Perry movies, they're all the same. It's just like the TV shows are the same, the movies are the same. Bro, please, for Jonathan, if you're talking about you want to come back, do not do a Tyler Perry movie.
No, his TV shows
Well,
ain't the same because like the
it
old.
depends on to me that depends, Ralph, because Tyler Perry is still very respected in Hollywood. He's
I'm not.
still
I'm not.
very
I'm not. No,
respected
no, 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 no.
executive and producer,
No,
right?
I'm not. I'm not disagreeing with that one. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if you look at the Tyler Perry movies, and yes, Kevin, I'm sorry, the Oval, you could replace Oval with Sisters, or the first Wives Club. It's the same kind of thing. But no disrespect, but Tyler Perry, while talented the man may is, to me, he has his hands in too much of his product, and it's just like it's just the same thing, just spun off to different people. You know,
But no, but but that's what it's gonna be because he doesn't want to relinquish control, and he also, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to take in any outside projects that somebody's name else's name is on. Like
wait a
he'll take
minute.
an outside project, like he'll take a new script. Like let's say if you brought him a script, Ralph, and you got a whole idea, your script is done, it's ready to go. You got your actors that you want for it. He'll tell you, well, you know what? Here's 2 million. Give me the script, and I want total control. His problem is he doesn't know how to share. He wants to
I
have
I I
he wants to have
I agree.
total control, and he
I
needs to
agree with
learn how to
that.
spread it. He needs to learn how
Right.
to.
He
Yeah.
loves seeing that written, produced, directed, uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Scored.
scored, and
Now he'll
freaking
help. Now he'll help some people out.
craft
He'll help you
services.
out.
Yeah.
He'll put a couple of
Crafty.
bucks in your pocket and maybe even
No,
pay for your Walmart
I hear
bill.
he's a
good. Yeah, I hear he's a good boss. Like some people that I know that's worked at over at Tyler Perry Studios, so he's a good boss, but he's just don't go there thinking you're going to you know advance as far as like you're not writing nothing. Don't think if you're a writer, don't go there preparing to be a writer. Go there preparing to be a grip or something. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you're not gonna
Go get
be.
my hot
Hopefully, you got some
fries.
other
Go get my hot
something.
fries. That's what he's gonna tell
No, I
you.
mean he gives work. They got work there, but don't think it's going to be any above the
like
line
like
stuff.
Ralph said, go get my high fries.
It's still work.
Work.
Still
Hey,
work.
bro, check. Go get my hot fries equals a credit of production assistant. Cool. Yeah, I was a
And
PA
I'll take it all.
on a Tyler Perry joint.
But
I'll take it all
what I'm
day.
saying, do you know what
I'll
the
take it all
best role Tyler Perry has actually played? It's not none of his movies. The best role he actually played is in Gone
Yeah,
Girl. Really?
Yeah.
That's
that
that's
was
it.
good. That was good, bro. Yeah,
That's his
He
best
he
role.
bodied that.
He bodied it, but
yeah,
like
he did
all,
good.
all the stuff that Tyler Perry, and I'm not even talking about when Tyler Perry playing Medea, because that's you're supposed to be the way. But all of a sudden when he's playing a guy, why did I get married? The one that Kevin's talking about, the hands that pray, good
Mhm.
things. I mean, good deeds. All these things, they're all the same guy, just spun out into a different name, different tax bracket. They're all the same guy. He doesn't take any risk. He doesn't move the needle for himself. So if he can't move the needle for himself, right? How is he going to
Well,
move the needle for Jonathan Majors, who is trying to come back to what he was?
But here's why. See, here's the thing that a lot of people keep forgetting. The reason why the needle for Tyler Perry will never move out of the groove that it's in, and it's on a skip because there's a scratch in the record of his life. And there's two things to that. It's one because of
yeah. Sorry,
his
Kev. I just want to
stepdad.
jump in there for the Gen Zers. He's referring to vinyl record recordings. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
you
Oh
may not
yeah, yeah.
understand what that reference means, but yeah, go ahead. Kev.
Yeah, yeah, the scratching or the skipping his disc is because he got a scratch in it.
Right.
And that scratch is
Or,
is
or
it's
buffering for the
yeah,
youngins. His life
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
buffering right now.
Okay, you know what? That's a better reference. He can't advance forward because of the buffering, and the buffering in his life that's affecting his code is his stepdad. God rest the guy's soul, and that's because
Yeah.
his mother, which this is the piece that I don't understand, but his mother basically stepped out on while they was married, stepped out on dude, got pregnant by somebody else, and Tyler is that other man's baby. And and listen, I am not condoning domestic violence. And what dude should have did was, if you were that angry, dude should have left. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, because he stayed in the marriage, took care of the mom, still took care of Tyler, still put a roof over his head, still took care of, because Tyler still credits that man with giving him his work ethic. He said he got his work ethic from his stepdad. And that's the scratch. The scratch in his record is the abuse that his mother took from his stepdad, the abuse that he took from his stepdad, which was just as bad, and then on top of all of that, the fact of finding out that that man wasn't really his father, and the dude still kept a roof over his head, but still knocked his lights out every once in a blue moon. And thank God for his aunties and them that kept him alive, and that protected him. But that's why that's the scratch in his record is the women in his life, because his aunties came to his him and his mother's
So
aid,
basically, he's going to continue to
and those are the movies
pay
he's gonna
homage
make
to
for
the
the rest.
stay in
Yep.
just to kind of tie it up for people who may the youngins that may or may not be following what you're saying. Basically, he ain't changing. He got
Yeah,
He
yeah,
ain't changing.
a strong influence that the women in his life was.
and
You know,
he's gonna forever be paying homage to that.
he's gonna ever be paying homage. And also, he also said that he clearly said that he doesn't relinquish control because he feels his audience, his core audience, wants to hear his voice. That's what he said. That was his
So
answer to why
I
doesn't he let someone else write? Why doesn't he listen? He said he doesn't do that because his audience, which is his core, uh, wants to hear his voice. And remember, let's not take away the fact that Tyler Perry, money wise, is good. You know what I'm
oh
saying? He
sure.
doesn't have to make films anymore. So if he wants to, he's only going to make films that he feels he wants to make because he don't have to make
But
films to make
I
but
money.
agree.
still,
I can agree. I can agree with that one. No, you don't want to piss off your core audience. However, two things. One, it wouldn't kill you to go outside of your comfort zone as a director. It would. And number
Yeah,
two, bro,
yeah,
we have heard your voice as Tyler Perry
too
since
damn
what
much.
2006. It's
Yeah.
2024. Maybe it's time for a change. Listen,
no.
I don't
Ralph.
care what
No,
director you go with. I don't care what director you go with. All directors of any type of notoriety have somewhere in their resume something that took them outside of their comfort zone. Either it was a success or a failure, but they at least attempted to. Spielberg has done a comedy. Spielberg has done nude scenes. There's very few things that Steven Spielberg has done. You got Nolan. Nolan goes from giving you a screw job psychiatric movie to doing a comic book series to get now doing a biop. So you can go out your comfort zone. Or is your core audience going to sit there and say, well, Tyler
well,
Perry, he's doing this horror movie. We
well,
can't go
well,
support it? No,
eh,
because it's a
eh,
Tyler Perry movie.
Ralph, those are kind of bad examples, especially the Nolan one, because Nolan is a filmmaker, so he doesn't have a comfort zone. Nolan is going to go wherever the winds blow. That's where Nolan's going to
That
go.
he like
If the wind tells Nolan to
that
go
he's
this
on
way,
board with, of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
that's
okay,
where he's going to go, and
but
that's
Kev,
what he's going to do. But he's
Kev,
comfortable. Go ahead.
but Kev, you just said it. Nolan is a filmmaker. So what is Tyler Perry trying to be? Is he trying to be a director or is he trying to be a filmmaker? Because obviously
Well,
there's a difference between the two.
there is a difference between the two, but being a film, Tyler Perry is a filmmaker, but he's a niche filmmaker. He doesn't want to step outside of his niche. He doesn't want to stay, as Wes just alluded to, not alluded to, but said, because that's what came out of Tyler Perry's mouth, is my. See, everything is me, my
Right,
core
yeah.
audience. This is what
Yeah.
my core audience wants to do. Instead of him ever getting, see, he did the Gone Girl thing because
Mhm.
he was trying to establish something with Hollywood. He was trying
Yeah.
to get his name in there so he could start getting his projects in. That's the only
Mhm.
reason why he was acting. Because even when he played Alex Cross, he wanted to take control over that. And they was like, nah,
Yeah.
B, look,
They're like,
this,
hell no.
look, this is what we need you to do. We need you to do this. We don't need you to Medea-ize this or to Tyler Perry it. We need you to Tyler Perry it, but we need you to Tyler Perry it as Alex Cross.
As
K-
actor,
k-
as Alex Cross. Yeah.
as an actor,
Yeah.
which he did a damn good job of, and he could have
Yeah, he
did
didn't do
even
a bad
better
job.
if he would have been. And that was the thing with Gone Girl. The reason why Gone Girl was so good is because he realized, you know what, I got to put everything into this. And so these Hollywood niggas can see me for who I am. They really need to see me and then take me seriously. And the only way they're going to take me seriously is if I get in this film full of white people and body it.
Mhm.
And he did. He
Yeah.
did. There was nothing about Gone Girl that was bad. There was nothing that nobody that could, except for Homegirl, because she was just a piece of shit. But she was a great actress though, and I
No,
love
but
her as an actress.
yeah,
Um,
performance wise, there was no bad
Yeah.
yeah,
performances in
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Nah.
There was nothing wrong with Gone Girl at all. You know what I'm saying? So, Tyler Perry put it was the perfect storm for him. And look where everything went for him after that. It went up because his stock went up. And he was able to put himself into doors to be able to navigate to get hit, once he got the not Meet the Browns. I forgot what the name of his first show was that he got on TNT.
House
He
of
was able
Pain. House
House
of
of Pain.
Pain.
He got House of Pain on TNT. Once he did that, that was a wrap. And this was something I wanted to say when we had Homegirl on the other last week that I didn't get to say because she had mentioned something. I forgot what we had got to, but we had kind of sort of got to the same point. Oh, she mentioned Tubi, and and what I wanted to say about Tubi was Tubi is doing exactly what Fox and all UPN 9 and all of these other stations have done. They build off of the black product until they get themselves in a good position to where they can get good stockholders. Once they get good stockholders in their company, booyah, they can rock on. And then they leave the black market behind. Hopefully, Tubi doesn't do that. Hopefully, they won't do that. But listen, it's been the record.
Yeah, I mean, I see them. I agree to a degree. I see them pretty much doing. To me, I still say they're doing uh somewhat of what Netflix did because you gotta remember, obviously dealing with stuff like that, these type of streaming services, it's all algorithm based, right? So half the people, if you're not a person that watches or consumes black content, you'll never see black content on Tubi.
Tubi, yeah,
Say everything's algorithm based. So if you're gonna see, um, like I said, if you're gonna see black
if
content, if you're not the type of person that consumes that, you'll never see that on
yeah,
Tubi.
if
You're
if
gonna
if,
see
if
all the
all
other
you
stuff,
do is click on
right?
Golden Girls
Right.
or whatever the case may
Right.
be,
If
that's
you
what's
click
gonna
on
pop up.
nostalgia stuff, like I use Tubi and I watch nostalgia television series and things like that. So that's what comes on my algorithm a lot. It only the indie films obviously come up because I'm an indie filmmaker and I'm looking at my own films, I'm doing this, whatever. So that comes up. But I don't get a lot of like, because there's a whole niche, as we know, niche market for the hood films and the the black independent, even the hood films. There's a whole niche market for that, but I don't
Yeah,
get those coming across my timeline because I don't watch those movies.
yeah, but
So
that's the
yeah,
only
I mean,
the only reason why
they're
I
not really
mentioned
getting
that.
rich off those movies though, but
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
are.
No, they're not. But the only reason why I said that was because and to go back to the Tyler Perry thing, the only reason why I said that was like what we were saying about him going to get the House of Pain on TNT. That helped bring a lot more black eyeballs to TNT. And then what happened when he was done with TNT? It actually got syndicated. The show got syndicated, and then he
Yeah.
moved on and he did his deal with Oprah, and then he did his deal
Mhm.
with BET, and now he's taken with the exception of Miss Pat. Which, if y'all not watching the Miss Pat show, y'all are missing. Oh my, y'all are missing some beautiful black TV, man, and some real down to earth the other side of Cosby. Cosby would look at that and have a heart attack if he hasn't already. Um but Tyler Perry, I mean, hopefully homeboy will, I don't even know how we got to him, but hopefully homeboy will wake
Well,
up
we
one
got
day
to
and
because
be like,
Ralph says he shouldn't do a Tyler Perry film. I mean, I
oh,
just said Tyler.
with
I didn't say
Jonathan
he was going to
Major,
do a
right?
Tyler Perry film. I just said Tyler Perry is endorsing him and showing
That
support
ain't
for
that
him.
that ain't yeah, but that's fine. Show support, but I'm just saying, don't do a Tyler Perry movie unless he's gonna do something. When you read it, and you say, you know what, man, this ain't like House of Pain. This ain't like Medea does. Boo, Medea. This isn't. It's something of some
But Ralph, I
why
think
did I get
somebody.
But,
But I
but I'm
think
gonna
Ralph,
tell you
I
this: if
think,
Tyler
but
Perry offer you a nice bag, do it.
but here's the thing,
You
though.
need
I
that
think
money.
what Ralph is saying is 100% true. But here's the
Hmm.
caveat that I would give to it. If Jonathan Majors did decide to do that, let's just say Tyler Orford or something decided to do it, he's a good enough caliber of an actor to where he could take that and untyler it. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
Yeah,
no,
you
no, no,
can do.
because Tyler Perry is not gonna let him do it. He's not gonna let. He's not gonna let him do it.
You really think,
He's gonna.
Ralph? You really think
Yeah,
he'll beat him upside the head and be like, do it like this?
yeah,
Just
I,
like
I
this?
really do. You know why? Because like
He's
you
like,
just said,
yeah.
like you just said, he does not want to piss off his core audience. So no, he is not going to let Jonathan Major just run loose. Even though in retrospective, let's just sit there and say that what happened. It might be make the movie better, but he's not going to let him do it. He's going to say, "Well, I want this performance because this is what my audience come to expect. This is what my audience
Yeah.
has seen." I'm like you said, I'm not going out my comfort zone. But then again, if you take off some of the reign a little bit, because in I think in Tyler Perry's mind, that's me letting go of the straps a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody in all the in all the movies that you've seen, Tyler Perry movie. Let's be honest, nobody has really done something where it was like so. The only person I can literally sit there and say that in all the Tyler Perry movies, all of them, that really stands out is Tasha. She's it. Why? Because she's constantly cursing out Michael Jai White, right? Then she does the other movie. Then she does the other movie with the kids, and she's cursing
Hmm.
out she's cursing out her husband. She's cursing this person. She's cursing, but that's all. It's cursing. She's not doing
Now,
nothing
now,
that's really gonna sit there
I'm gonna
and give it
say,
some meat.
yeah, I'm gonna say this. I truly feel, as much as I respect Tyler Perry as an artist and a businessman, I truly feel that there's nothing Tyler Perry can write that would do uh Jonathan Majors any justice as an actor. Um because not that he couldn't do it, he could do whatever. But I don't think anything Tyler Perry could write would really do him any justice. The only way I see him possibly ever considering doing a Tyler Perry movie is if he's gonna do uh what Ralph said, a not major role in it, but it would be more part of. I could see Tyler Perry approaching him as almost like an offering to be part of this redemption tour
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah,
give
yeah.
him a part.
Come be the
Right.
boyfriend
Give
that cheats on the husband
Yeah,
Well,
with the
no,
wife.
not that. Don't be that, but be offering offering him a non-confrontational role, a role that's not going to show him in a confrontational or aggressive manner. All right, so
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
because
because
he
right
got to
now
be the school
those
teacher. He got to be like the school teacher trying to teach the
right
kids.
something like that, or the principal. So
Yeah.
No, he can't
no,
be that. Oh no, he can't be that. Because he
no,
gonna
no,
jack.
just something.
Jonathan Majors is that teacher that'll jack you up. I'm sorry,
Well, I mean,
he
he
can't
can't
be
be
that.
that. But see, Kev, say nah, Kev, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem, Kev. You, you're typecasting him right now. You're
Listen, I'm just keeping
he's
it
the
a buck.
teacher. He's gonna have to be the
Listen,
teacher, like
after after
that
Creed,
stage, like that stage video he did where he broke up those two middle school kids fighting. That's what we need to see him in.
He got, he
listen,
got,
no,
he got, he got.
after watching
What he
Creed,
got to be. Wait a minute, you know what he got to be? I mean, he got to be like a football coach or something like that. Like honestly, that's what he needs. He needs something like that. That's like based on a real life. Like
Okay.
you're the coach of some
Yeah.
underdog team that shocks the world, but you're the
Yeah.
coach. When
Right.
now you are motivating people. That
Yeah.
now, if
And
Tyler
it,
Perry would do
and it
something
needs
like
to be
that,
but
it needs to be
if
a non-confrontational sport. It
yeah.
can't be boxing. It can't be wrestling. It can't be MMA. It can't be nothing like that. It has
It's
to
got
be
to be
something.
either football, baseball, basketball. That's
Yeah,
really
gotta
it.
be one of
It
them.
can't be
Gotta be
tennis because
one.
nobody cares about that one. It can't be golf. You know,
Right.
it can't. It can't.
Golf might work. Golf might
No,
work.
because the only or some sort of track and field thing where like the team that he is that's a
Well, I
symbol.
mean,
He
yeah,
gets into the Olympics or something. Then yes,
yeah.
if
I
there was
think
a
I think the Dennis Rodman film would have been good. Even though he's playing Dennis Rodman, or he was, but that's been dropped. That he,
yeah he's dropped.
when we were doing all the reporting, yeah, he got dropped from that, which was crazy to me. But you know,
But you know what? But you know what? That I think that played in his favor.
Nah,
I
I'm gonna tell
think
you
that
nah. I'm gonna tell you nah.
no,
You,
no,
you,
no.
you,
Him, no. After these allegations, and then for him to be playing Dennis Rodman, it ain't a good look to white America,
well,
unfortunately.
one of the reasons why the film that he did so good at Disney shelved it, and that whatever because of the fact that the character it was a violent character. It was brilliantly played by him, right? And it
See,
was
I want
it
to know
was
what
it
the
was
what's the context of the film of him. What's the
well,
context? Because
he's in a competition, a bodybuilder competition, but it's something that the character aspired to do. He was into this covenant or whatever, but it's more so how the reviews really talk about how he played the character, because the character obviously deals with some past trauma. He's a very complex multidimensional character, and kind of a little he has a mental condition or something going on based
and probably
on
because
his
of using
past
steroids.
trauma. And no, I don't think it's a steroid thing. It's just more or less just like uh the past trauma that he dealt with, and which I think abuse and stuff like that, which kind of like he has that whole introvert personality, and I think at some point he kind of so they were calling this his taxi driver. That's what they were calling this.
Mm.
As far as his performance goes, they was like, this is he put on a De Niro in Taxi Driver performance. This is what they talked about at Sundance. Multiple writers wrote about it at Sundance, and and it was all raving about his performance, even more so than the film itself. They said the film itself was good. It was done written well or whatever, but wasn't the greatest. But they said his performance is what really upped the ante with that. And it got one of those famous standing ovations and all that other stuff. But it really raved about his performance. That's why I really want to see his.
Hey, wait. After Bragg, I want to. If yeah, I'm going to catch a charge. There's just some people I cannot see in life, and District Attorney Bragg is one of them. If I ever see that dude, I'm going right to jail because I'm gonna kick him right in his. I'm
Who?
gonna kick him right in his knee.
So, so I think
Messed this dude's whole career up, and did it just not only because he wanted to damage this dude's career, but also because he wanted to put some fear into Trump. And you ain't put no fear into Trump by locking up another black man over him trying to run away from a woman anyway. Moving on.
yeah, I mean, it's water under the bridge now. But he, I definitely think, I for one think that first thing he needs to do is he needs to get into some films, and it doesn't mean he has to get into a Hollywood film, because I'm gonna keep it 100 and a buck with you. Yes, Hollywood is still Hollywood. Yes, they still pull strings and run things, but independent films are still, they're not as independent as they used to be. Right? So, meaning an independent film could still be a multi-million-dollar film. It's just not at a certain level, money wise or whatever. But it doesn't mean it's not going to be a good film,
And the
especially
other
if
thing too is
you
just
get
keeping your
somebody
face known and keeping your face
keep your
seen
just keep
all
yeah
over.
get some work, just get working, because eventually it's gonna blow over, and eventually, you got to start getting in some films, so cats can remember that you are a great actor. Cats can remember that you're a good actor, and then you'll end up take some of these films that are going to be considered indie films. Because trust me, any smart indie producer or director would put their money and get him because he's cheap right now. Obviously, he's not going to get anything near what he was worth before. So I'd take advantage of that shit. If I had the money to put him in, I put him in my next film. If I had the money, just because of the fact that he's a great actor and he's going to body whatever role that I give him. So eventually that's going to help him get back to it. I don't think the reason why I don't think it's going to end up being a Ray a Parker situation. What's his name again?
Ray Parker.
Nate Parker. Nate
Nate
No,
Parker.
Nate
Parker.
Parker. Nate Parker. A Nate Parker situation is because Jonathan Majors did something. Yes, I think after a while that's just gonna blow over. What Nate Parker did is what Hollywood doesn't want. He made a film that they just didn't want. That whole thing coming out with him was, in my opinion,
Oh, it was
that was set
obviously
up.
by design. It was
Yeah,
it was
that was
definitely
that
by
was by
design.
design. That was set
Because
up. It didn't just happen to come out.
that
So
thing was buried and put away.
yeah.
Nobody, I didn't even know about it. I didn't even
Yeah,
know
no,
what
exactly.
happened with him.
That was something that happened before he even became an actor, and
Yeah.
it was already done, buried, put away. So that was dug up for a reason because of the film that he put out, "The Birth of a Nation," and all that stuff. They don't want to see stuff like that. No one, they don't want no films like that out there. So that was the different case because they probably just buried him because they're like, look, if he can do it like this, he can do it again. So let's just bury him. Uh Majors did this. This came out, whatever case, it happened. It went the way it went. I definitely think uh starting with what just happened with him getting this Impact Award, whatever it's called, for perseverance. I think this itself might warrant a couple of appearances somewhere, a couple of press appearances, and then yeah, I could see him getting invited to do like present an award. Maybe him with Megan Good or and with somebody else. They come out and he presents an award. Um, I could definitely see that happening, and then it's gonna be up to one of these guys, one of these other producers, um, to say, okay, let's put him in one of our upcoming films. But I think what he really needs to do is continue to work as much as he can if he gets the opportunity.
Well, that'll let
Yes,
somebody
he gets
tickle
to
his
work.
booty hole.
Yeah, no, I mean he has to work. He's
Oh
got to
Yeah,
work.
no, Kev.
yeah,
No, Kev.
yeah.
You trying to pimp the guy
He's
out?
like,
No. No, you trying to
no,
pimp the guy out?
he has to work. He's got to work. He's got to get out there and
Yeah,
work because
exactly. He
there
got to go out there, make the rounds, put in that work.
yeah, yeah. Nah, I mean,
No, Kevin. No.
because
No.
no, I get you. Unfortunately that's not a complete untruth. But
Put a
um,
mask on, and show up at show up at one of them parties. And when you get to the
oh Lord,
fourth room, hey, hey,
yeah, right. I think that I think his best bet would be to you know, don't take anything, but definitely get work in. As of right now, you can't be too choosy, but obviously, let's just say, like Ralph said, if it's a Tyler Perry situation, you should be very cautious on what you take, what role you take for Tyler Perry, because like what Kev said, if you're gonna be the abusive husband, don't take that role. If you're gonna
Nah.
be the
The
husband
serial
that
killer?
if you,
Don't
yeah,
do
if
it.
you're right, if you're gonna be the even if you're gonna be the husband that gets cheated on, I don't know if you want to just have
Don't
that at
do
all.
it.
Just don't get in that role. If you're gonna be, like you said, you're gonna be the
he could
coach
be a serial
of
killer,
the
Ralph.
team.
Hmm?
I mean, yeah, he. I mean, once again, it's all about the role, right? If it's a serial killer in the sense of the way Joker was written, then yeah, I take that role because it was a dimensional, multi-dimensional character. It was very well written, and it's one of
But
those
if
things
you
that you can get
but if you
out of
stalk it, but he
a great
can't be
performer.
stalker, but he can't be stalker Jimmy though.
Nah,
Right, he can't be
no.
stalking Jimmy. Right, he can't do that. So you got to do that. But I think if you just keep working. Now this guy, this independent director that he's doing this film with, he is an indie director. However, he is plugged in or has the connections to the major. He's the brother of the guy who directed Dune and all of that stuff. So he's just a younger brother, upcoming director, and maybe this movie might be one of his first like major movies, no pun intended. But he did right now. Jonathan Majors is the only one cast for the movie, so still in pre-production. But this guy, he's done a bunch of stuff, bunch of shorts, bunch of indie stuff. But he is plugged in. He's got the like I said, the brother who did Blade Runner 2049. He did Dune Part One, and like that guy. That's got his brother has a lot of stuff under his belt. So you never know. Yeah,
So
but
basically, his brother got it in. The little brother or whoever he is, he has it in
yeah, I
Hollywood.
think it's the bigger brother. Yeah, I think it's his older brother that has the Hollywood in. Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it pretty much is gonna work.
Oh well,
So yeah,
it's always a good thing because if everything works out on this film like it should, and this guy gives him a good word, then the word is going to spread amongst directors, and directors
yeah,
9 times out of 10 get what they want. If they
yeah,
want a Jonathan Majors, if they say, well, we want a Jonathan Major ish type of actor, somebody at some point is going to be like, okay, why are we going for Jonathan Majors ish when we can just go for Jonathan Majors?
Wait a minute,
That
yeah.
that,
who was the who? Wait a minute, who was the actor that we had on that would say they wanted a role that was you and they went to someone else? Like, well, what's wrong with me?
That- yeah, remember we
exactly.
talk about that. What you call it? Let's talk about that. Remember
The girl was on last week.
no. No, I know that, but what I meant is originally remember Michael John White was talking about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. He
Michael
said
John
that
White
too.
was saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, we want a Michael John White type." Like, well, why not just get Michael John White? Because Michael John White is too intimidated looking. See, that's the thing,
Well,
and
isn't
that's
that what
another
you want?
thing. Y- Well, nah, it depends on what you want. When they
Do you
said,
really want
but see, you
you
gotta
that
remember
ain't
we
what you
talked.
really
I talked
want?
about this last week. Remember, these people have certain scorecards when it comes to actors. And if just them saying we want a Michael J. White type doesn't mean we want an aggressive looking nigga. It means that we just want somebody maybe around his skin tone, maybe
Yeah,
around
yeah.
his
We
his
want
height.
yeah. We want Shamar Moore. So when you
Yeah,
say that, when we say you want a Michael J. White type, oh, let's get Shamar Moore. More.
the not even he's too light. Michael J. White's a little darker than him. So when they say a type, they mean his body, maybe not even his body type, because they talk about Bill Bellamy. Bill Bellamy's nowhere near the Michael J. White body type, but he is the same complexion as Michael J.
Yeah, he is the same complexion. He's all the way the same complexion. Nowhere near the body build. Can't do none of the martial arts that he can do. He can tell a joke. Bill Bellamy is funny as hell. He can tell a good damn
Oh, I
goddamn
love Bill
story.
Bellamy. I
But
love Bill Bellamy. He's funny,
but
man.
but he is not Michael J. White
Yeah, yeah.
at at
I think
at,
this.
at
I
any
think this
stretch.
film,
You
this
know something?
merciless film, might be this guy's first major type of film. I think. I'm just guessing that because with him having the brother that he has, and I don't know. I think it might be. It doesn't say. Obviously, the film hasn't been picked up or distributed, or nothing like this. It hasn't even been shot yet. So, but the only person involved right now, other than the director and the screenwriters and stuff like that, uh, is Michael Jai White with any sort of. I mean, I'm sorry, is Jonathan Majors with any sort of name? Yeah, I'm like Michael Jai White. No.
Michael Jai White.
Now, to me, I would say that Jonathan Majors is a Michael Jai White type because he's intimidated. Like Michael Jai White, he's very intimidating.
And that's
I
what I'm
don't know
saying.
about that one. Michael Jai
No,
White is like,
no.
if you
Listen,
ever look at
I'm
Michael
not
Jai White in his
comparing
face,
Ralph. I'm not comparing him to Michael Jai White, but Jonathan Majors is intimidating looking. Let's not let's keep it 100 here.
Ralph,
Let's keep it a
100%.
buck here.
And Creed, when he put that hoodie on and rolled up on what's his face, I was like, yo, listen, that was a Clubber Lang situation. I thought I was
yeah,
like, mm,
I go with that. But I seen Michael Jai White's intimidation face in person.
Me
That
too.
that
Me too.
that thing
Definitely.
strike fear into your heart. You're like,
Oh yeah,
yo,
almost definitely.
we
It strikes
we not
fear
even
into
on
your heart
set. We not
for a
even on
couple
set.
reasons though. We also because we know who he is, but at the same time, he just has a look that, and that's what he said. That's why they probably wanted to go with Bill Bellamy other than him because yeah, we like your skin tone. We like
we like everything else
Someone said,
except
"How
for
do
the
we even get on
intimidation.
Tyler Perry?" Someone
'Cause
said, "How do
I mean
we ever
that
even get
that dude.
Tyler Perry?"
Listen, I seen two people. I seen two people in my life, right? Actors that have struck fear in my heart. Michael Jai White is number one, and no, I'm sorry, he's number two. Number one is always gonna be Mike Tyson. That day he came
Yeah.
walking past me. I mean, it was like, damn,
Mm.
bro. I didn't steal your money, but I'm gonna just give it to you because I think I might have in past lifetime.
Yeah, Mike Tyson's that dude that you're afraid that you might say something wrong,
Listen,
even if you say something nice
Mike
to him.
Tyson is
You might
Mike
just be like,
Tyson is
"Wait, I don't even want to compliment Mike the wrong way."
I don't want to
listen,
say
Mike
hello the
Tyson.
wrong way.
What did Mike Tyson say? Mike Tyson said, "I am scared of myself. I am scared
Yeah,
of letting that guy out. I do not want that guy
yeah,
to get out.
letting that
If that
guy
guy
out.
gets out, if I let that guy out, it's
Yeah,
not going to be good for anybody if I let that guy out. He's scared
Well,
of himself.
yeah,
okay, I gotta be
exactly.
honest with you. If Mike Tyson heard you talk like that, guess what? He gonna let that guy out on you. Don't.
Listen, listen.
Exactly.
I'm in the comfort of my home. He don't know
That's
where
why I
I
give Eddie
live.
Murphy credit. I give Eddie Murphy credit because he imitated Mike right in front of Mike, and Mike grabbed him in a headlock, but he was in a playful way.
Yeah.
But he
Well, he
But
was.
imitated Mike.
backstage, you might say, "Yo, what the fuck your problem?" He's like, "You don't want that smoke, man. I don't want
Yeah,
that smoke."
him and Jamie Foxx are the only two people that actually got away with making fun of him in front. Oh, and the Wayans, one of the Wayans brothers got away with it because
Yep.
because
Yeah.
Mike Tyson had told a story about to the Wayans brothers how he had rolled up on their mom and said something. And the mom was told him like, listen, you need to relax or something like that. She told him like, you need to relax. You ain't gonna do that to my boys. They're just jokes. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what. And Mike Tyson had told him like he said, yo, your mom's an OG. Like she's not to
Mhm.
be played with. He's like, I rolled up on your mom's, and your mom's put me in my place. She wasn't even scared.
Your mom was
I,
like,
Nah, you
"Look,
know what?
boy."
Like I said, yeah,
She was
no,
like, "Look,
I get
boy."
it. I think Michael Jai White's definitely one of the more intimidating looking guys that I've met in person. Otherwise, I'd have to say, even though he was a total gentleman, but he's still intimidated looking, and that was a Tiny Lister.
oh,
Oh
Um,
Lord. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah, yo,
Wait,
that
did,
yo,
yeah, yeah.
wait a
yeah,
minute. Did he
you.
did wait a minute,
Mm.
did he hit you with the cross eye?
Yeah, yeah. Of course he does that. Yeah, he
Oh
does that.
Lord.
But I look at him and I think Debo. That's all I think. I'm like, yo, yeah. As a matter of fact, I saw him at one of the times I went down for the American Black Film Festival, and he was I think it was America. I was in Florida when I saw him. I'm trying to remember if that's what I was there for. But anyway, that's why I saw him on Miami South Beach. And immediately I saw him
and there was other people standing around him, and I walked up to him, and he looked at me, and I tucked my chain. I tucked my. I went like that. I said, "Oh shit!" Dad, and then he kind of gave a little one of those cross-eyed evil laughs, grins, and kept it moving. I kept it moving. I just said, I looked at, I said, "Oh shit, here come people," and I tucked it.
I had called him Zeus.
Yeah,
I had
he
called him
probably,
Zeus.
Yeah, of
And
course.
he looked at me
Zeus,
like, "What?"
Yeah.
I think he looked at me. He's like, "You old enough to remember?" I said, "Yeah, man." But he
Yeah,
was like,
Zeus. Yeah.
who
I
doesn't
remember that.
remember Zeus?
No. Yeah. Well, a lot of anybody, I guess, age-wise, they won't. But yeah, I saw a dude, and I tucked the chain. I was like, "Nah, sir."
He
You know.
probably was cracking up on the inside because that
Yeah, he
had to
was
be
laughing.
funny
He was laughing, but he was doing the laugh. But then he tried to hit me with the
with the girl.
cross-eyed. Yeah, and I was just like, yo,
Like I'm walking away, bro,
was cool.
and my
That was
chain is
right in
tucked.
front of. I'll never forget that. I was right in front of Wet Willie's. Wet Willie's on South Beach, down on Ocean Avenue. Right in front of Wet Willie's. We was walking past, saw him. And then a couple people was surrounding him, trying to get like whatever pictures or whatever they was trying to get from him. And I saw him, and I did that. And he gave me the cross-eyed grin, and I was good. I was like,
Yeah,
that was
there's
it.
only two
But he is
people
intimidating. He's still intimidating.
I don't think I would ever be afraid of him. But the two people that was three actually that I'm afraid of in Hollywood is Denzel Washington.
I wouldn't be afraid of Denzel.
Not Denzel.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Because Denzel hit you with the smile, and that just deflates the whole thing. But
yeah,
once he
yeah,
smiles, you're like,
it does deflate
yeah.
the whole thing. But you know what? It's like I would just be afraid of disappointing and angering him because he just seems like the type of person to put hands on you. Wesley Snipes. And
Yeah.
then homeboy that played the Punisher. I don't know why I always forget homeboy's name. Not
Wait
the
a minute, which
Punisher.
which which
He
one?
played not the Punisher. He played Wilson Fisk.
Oh,
And
you talking about
Daredevil.
you talking about Michael Clark Duncan?
Right,
Rest in peace.
Michael Clark Duncan. Yo, that dude. Yo, I'm telling you, like in real life, I know a couple of dudes in real life that are like the same size and look just like that dude. And anytime that I see people like him, I immediately cross the street. I don't even if I can see somebody like that 2 blocks away, I cross the street and I put my head down and I keep it moving. I become invisible because I don't want to be seen because I know because you know you're gonna get robbed.
Yeah, that's funny. So when I said this, like I said, I saw Michael Jai White also at the American Black Film Festival a different year, and that's where I met him. That's when I told that story once on air, where I told him that I thought he would be a great who the hell did I say he would be good as? I forgot, but then I told him my idea.
I think you said Luke Cage. Is that what you
Oh
said?
yeah, I told him he should have been Luke Cage. Yeah, and then I said, and he just kind of gave the little like, huh, yeah, almost like, yeah, they might have talked to him about that. You know what I mean? And then I said, nah, man, what I'm really thinking is a crazy Tarantino remake because he would be the guy to do it, unless I did it, but a Tarantino remake of the Five Deadly Venoms. I said, and he could be the Toad. I was like, that would be dope. I said a Tarantino take on it with you as the Toad. And he kind of like he gave me a smile on that one, like, huh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Futurism would be up his lane. Like I wouldn't be surprised right now if you tried to stab Michael Jai White, and the blade wouldn't go through. Like,
I don't think you get close enough to do it. But No, I'm gonna be
My
honest with
slow
you.
ass wouldn't even be able to get that far. I'll be winding
No.
up. I'll be winding, bringing it back from Mississippi, trying to stab him, and he me done broke my arm 3 times in 3
You know,
places.
the other night, Demetrius he was doing a show, and he brought me on the show. We were talking about the idea of The Last Dragon. Should it be remade, a prequel? Well, it was either rebooted or a sequel, and then someone brought the idea of a prequel. And but now that I'm thinking about it, if they were to do a sequel to The Last Dragon, Michael Jai White as Shonuff, does that work?
No, no, no,
No.
no. He would have to. Michael Jai White would have to be the sensei of the other kid. That
Yeah,
would
I
that
don't think
that, that
showing up is a serious enough character for him. Because
and
to
I'm gonna
me,
be honest with you.
I never showing up was not intimidating to me. He was funny to
He was
me.
funny,
You know what I'm
and the
saying?
only person that plays Shonuff is Busta Rhymes.
Agreed.
Oh,
I agree with that
Yeah.
100%. Busta Rhymes would
Yeah.
kill that.
Yeah.
Like, yo, what's up, dog? What's up? The Last Dragon? he would do that. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I think he would be great. He needs to play. That's like what he needs to play. Show enough, you know. But I think uh I think that's not a serious enough character for Michael Jai White. I mean, of course, Michael Jai White he could do comedy too. He's been doing it last couple of movies. He obviously could do comedy, and it
but
wouldn't trust me if he did show enough. It'd be on a different level. He would really do. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he would because that dude who plays show enough didn't know no damn martial arts. I don't think
no, he
so.
didn't.
Nah,
He
he
didn't.
didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
So I
He
think he
knew
would
zero
represent
karate.
it differently. Yeah. He would represent it
And that's why
differently.
if they
And to
did
be honest with you, you might as well do a sequel because Time Mock still looks the same. He
yeah,
still
but
play.
if you did a sequel, it would have to be serious. It couldn't be
Yeah,
no funny games, no
yeah,
videos,
yeah. No
no
Eddie
corny white
Arcadians.
dude. Yeah,
No Eddie
exactly.
Arcadians.
None of that.
Dirty boy.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, none of that. And there's nobody living right now that's as fine as Vanity that could even like like so you could just take the pretty girl out of the equation. It,
I don't know about that one. I mean, I don't
no,
know about
no,
that one.
it's not. It's not. Not to
Nah,
have
there's a
That's a quick
there's no
that's a quick research thing that we can kind of do maybe next time around. Who is the equivalent of Vanity looks wise right
right now
now
that has Ralph that has that same
to
kind of
what she
impact.
was
Because
then?
remember, yeah, because when Vanity came on the scene, think about every fine ass woman that was out when Vanity came out. Vanity stepped in the scene. It was like we were all quiet about whoever else was in the background. Those other women became background noise. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, it did not matter. Vanity came on the scene, and everybody was like, "Oh, who you?" She was literally the new girl on the block, and everybody was at her in front of her house, like,
Mhm.
"Can Vanity come outside and play?"
Nah, can I come inside and play with Mary? Forget
No, 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 no,
that.
no. Yeah, I'm sorry. For those of y'all who didn't get the reference, back in the day when the girl on the block that everybody liked, when you wanted her to come outside to play, it was like all the boys, and we send one girl to go knock on the door for her to come outside, and then we all be outside like, "Can Tammy come outside and play?" And the mother would either be like, "No," or we would know that if she saw all of us, she wouldn't be able to come outside and play. So we all go down the block and hide until she come outside, and then we all be we all get back around and be playing, and then we all be arguing about who gonna touch her butt first.
Yeah, Vanity was just when she came out, there was really nobody looking like her.
Nobody.
That's true. Nobody. I agree, man.
There was nobody
Then you
looking
came,
like her.
then you came with Apollonia, which was like a little bit thicker version of Vanity.
A little bit
You know, he
thicker
was like
version,
a
but
little
at the
bit
same
thicker,
time,
it
but it
still
wasn't
wasn't.
Vanity.
It
she
still
had
wasn't the
now. Grant
same
Apollonia
impact.
had a great look. Apollonia has a
But
great look.
she
She
still
still,
didn't
to
have the
me,
impact
didn't
that
have that Vanity look.
yeah.
Nah.
She was
And
nice.
I will say this much: Apollonia was the better look for Purple Rain than Vanity. She was the better actress for Purple Rain than Vanity, in my opinion.
I don't know, man. I mean, she was pretty damn good in Last Dragon. Certainly Action Jackson, but she playing a drug addict. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know, man.
listen, Vanity would have been dope in Purple Rain. She definitely would have been dope. But Apollonia, it was the right fit. I think Vanity did the right thing when she did the right thing for Apollonia. But for her career probably would have took a different trajectory if she would
You know
have.
what? Now that I'm sitting here thinking about that, the only person that I could sit there and say that I would think that had that kind of impact where you was like, yo, who the hell is that? Is maybe the first time you saw Salma Hayek in From
Yes.
Dusk Till Dawn. You was like,
Yep. Hmm.
yo.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
probably. Selma Hayek was a really different looking. It wasn't really nobody looking like her, especially like
There's
when
still
she
nobody
came
that
out
look like
that
her.
first
She's
time.
Mexican and Lebanese. There's
Mexican.
nobody that looks like her.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean it's crazy. You know,
No,
Vanity
wait.
had a
I gotta take that
interesting
back.
mix.
I think after Summer Hayek, maybe Gal Gadot, when you saw her in Date, when you first saw Gal Gadot, you were kind of like, "Yo, who was that?" Because you didn't see. I don't
and you
know.
couldn't tell.
Certainly,
The thing about Gal Gadot though is you couldn't tell because she played the she see Gal Gadot knew how to play the game. Gal Gadot came in, her being an Israeli actress. When she came in, especially when she dipped into Fast and in that Fast and Furious movie, she came in there as Spanish speaking. Well, she alluded to herself being Spanish, but she wasn't.
Mhm.
She was actually still Israeli, but the way she carried herself, you thought she was Hispanic at first, or at the very least, you thought she was from Spain. So that's what gave her that like, ooh, who this?
Mhm.
yeah. Who it is? But
Yeah, well,
I got.
I think a Last Dragon. I think if you're gonna do the Last Dragon, and well, if you're gonna have a show enough, then you might as well do a remake. Um, I guess. But if you do a sequel, that's a little different because now
It's
you.
got to be.
But a lot of
mm,
people are doing sequels because I mean everyone now are doing sequels 20, 30, 40 years later.
Come
Yeah,
on, they gonna do Spaceballs too. I'm like, really, bro? It's like 40 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah, are you
Spaceballs
even
too
gonna
now.
no offense, are you even make it to see the see Spaceballs?
I mean, half those people dead.
No, they're
Well,
alive.
they're still
They're
alive,
still,
but I'm
except
talking
John
about Mel
Candy.
Brooks. Is he gonna
Oh,
make it?
Yeah.
oh yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna do a Last Dragon, it has to be if it's gonna be a sequel, it's got to be a serious sequel. I'm sorry, Michael Jai White doesn't have to be shown enough. He could be a shown enough as he could be a bad guy. He could be a very
Right.
mean bad guy.
If you do the sequel, I'd say use Time Mock for the sequel, obviously, and just let Michael Jai White be the villain. He doesn't have to be shown enough. He could just be the villain. And
Yeah,
let him be the
Yeah, he
villain and
could be.
let
He could.
them get it in. Let them get in a
Yeah, he could be.
nice make it a real martial arts film. Not that no disrespect. I love The Last Dragon, but what I mean is, and it was done in the vein of a real a traditional martial arts film, going on your journey and going on
yo, listen, ain't
and
no, but this
revere your
time it ain't gonna
master,
be no Jerry,
you
ain't
know.
gonna be no Jerry curls, ain't gonna be no soul glowing. He
Yeah,
got the glow. Listen, no,
yeah.
no, he
It's
ain't got
just
the
gonna be
glow.
also like let it take place in Asia. You know what I mean? Like
See, I had said that. I actually, it's funny you said. I actually said that. I said it's not like when they redid the Karate Kid. They redid the Karate Kid, but they gave it its own story by taking elements of the original movie and bringing it. But they're vastly different. If you were going to reboot the Last Dragon,
yeah.
you if you reboot it, you have to keep core elements of the original film, but rebooting, in my opinion, doesn't work because even if you reboot it, are you going to capture the same magic amongst the cast,
No,
that
but that's the
chemistry
thing. No, it's
amongst the
it's got to
cast?
be a but it's got to be new magic. That's why I said it's got to be a new film. It's got to be a whole nother dynamic. You can't you know what? And when you do the film, we don't need a whole bunch of trailers. We don't need a whole bunch of leaks. We don't need a whole bunch of Hollywood Unlocked full access to the back lot of the Last Dragon 2, the reboot. Shonuff's brother comes
Yeah, I
to
mean, just make it a
comes to
real
Hong
film,
Kong
man.
looking for Timok. You know what I'm saying? We don't need
I
none of
would
that.
bring Timok. I would bring Bruce
Timok got to
Leroy.
come back. He has to come
Well,
back.
No,
yeah, I
yeah,
would bring
yeah.
Bruce Leroy. Actually, I'd set it in Asia and let him, really going on some sort of whatever quest that he wants to go on, self quest or whatever,
No,
and
and
just
that's
make
true.
whatever,
We got
whatever. No, what I mean is because that is traditional martial arts films. You
no,
know what
no,
I'm
it
saying?
is.
They do
But
stuff
but
like
but
that.
but see, but we gotta. But and the only reason why I'm saying that is because of this caveat. We have to, because remember his golden quest in the movie, he was looking for a damn fortune cookie, fortune, and showing up at the damn
Well,
fortune cookie place.
that's what I'm saying. That was the tongue in cheek part of it all, of kind of taking the what they do. I mean, okay, yeah, he's trying to find the master, all this other stuff. Okay, but I'd set it in Asia, and I'd let Michael Jai White be the villain, and all of this stuff would happen in Asia. Like it'd be a whole real storyline that's just little more serious. You can have your little humor here and there, but it's gonna be more of a
It'll be a
serious martial
tournament.
arts film.
How about it be a
Yeah,
tournament?
a
Uh, uh,
tournament. Yeah, that'd be
let,
great.
let
Yeah,
it
like
be
a
let it be
Kumite type of
yeah,
joint. Yeah, like a
not
tournament.
even just a kumite. Let it be the last dragon meets Enter the Dragon type of movie.
Yeah, yeah. Let it be a tournament joint. And go like that. And Michael Jai White is the final level. Michael Jai White is the guy he has to fight, and you could be showing both that. Man, don't get me right in this film, y'all.
Wow.
Don't get me right in this film, y'all, because I'll be like, yo. But that's what, to me, that's all you could do. It kind of take away the campiness of it all. Even though we loved that about the first film, but that was that, right?
But that was the '80s. That's what the
Yeah,
'80s
right.
was,
Take away the
and it
campiness
wasn't.
of it all. Because at this
Yeah,
point, at his age, if it's a sequel, at his age, his parents, everybody's gone at this point. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
said that too. I said,
yeah,
I think you do a sequel where now it's Timok's kids. He has kids. But if you did it, do you incorporate the fact that Laura Charles is in real life, Vanny is gone? Do you have another actress
yeah.
playing her role? But I think it's something the kids, and then it's not Shonuff. It's like Shonuff's kids, like from a different school. Still keep it in New York. I don't know about the China, but still keep it in New York City as the
it
backdrop.
could be, but it could be Chinatown or something like that.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that still ties it back to the other film. But again, we got to lose the whole Shonuff thing. Like not even a Shonuff. It could be another
Yeah,
sensei
it's better
that
if
where
they go ahead, Kev.
it could be
Another
another sensei where his kid is training under, and his kid says something slick, and the sensei punched him in the
yeah.
mouth, and he went
Right. I
running
mean,
home to daddy.
they could really deal with like how what the Karate Kid did in Karate Kid Part 3, right? Where you had dude who had who was from Part 1, who had his spot, the dojo, and remember the other guy came, my man who played the vampire from Vampires, from John Carpenter's Vampires. That guy came and uh what was it? I think that was Part 3, the Karate Kid, or was it Part 2? No, Part 2 they were in Japan, or they were
They were in
you know
Japan in part two.
Yeah.
yeah. So it was Part 3 then, when he had the other thing. Remember when the dude came in and
Priest.
was like,
Priest.
yeah, when the guy came in and was like and he started training,
Daniel to be real aggressive. Remember, he was making it
Yeah. Uh-huh.
like it could be like that. That you could keep if you want to keep it in New York, keep it in the backdrop. Then yes, make it more of a dojo type of deal, rival dojo. I don't say you have to. You don't have to connect it to show enough. It's just a rival dojo, and that type of deal. If you want to do it that way, you know what I mean.
Well, two suggestions were made. One gentleman, who I forget his name, he has suggested doing The Last Dragon, but doing it as an animated series, and I was kind of like, I like that one because now you can keep it in that. Because
You could
I
do
mean,
everything, yeah. If you want to do
even
the anime
but
series, you can keep it all.
well, even in even with that, you can keep it in the time period because the time period certainly plays a
Yeah.
huge part in the movie itself. But then someone
Hmm.
else said, "What about the idea, like the Karate Kid? You take Black Dragon and you make it into a series." I like that
Hmm.
idea too. Where now
You
you
could do
can
that too.
expand that story out a lot more.
Yeah, you
And
could
then
do that.
little by little, could you bring back the original cast members that are still alive in some sort of role as themselves? Yeah, I think you can. You certainly can have it
If
in your
if it
Yeah.
takes place, if you're doing it, if you're talking about a live action series and it takes place now, it would have to take place now because everyone's older. So
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
you're talking
'Cause
about that. Now, if it's an animated series, it could be at any time period.
I mean, anytime.
You
Like,
know,
could you could you
and if
specifically
you
like that.
and
like
if
could
you
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 know.
brought back
imagine
all the
that?
characters, if you made it the
Yeah.
same time period, like let's just say,
Or
this
even
is
if
the
it's a
last
few years
dragon.
later.
This is
Yeah.
the last dragon 4 years later. That's the crack era. So
Yeah.
that means show enough on crack because that's pretty much
I
what he gonna look
don't.
like now.
Nah, but
I
I
don't. I
think
don't think that. But I
no,
think
no.
that.
I honestly think that if you do animated, obviously you could put it at any time period. You could bring back actors to voice them, the people that are still alive. Give Buster Rhymes a voice show enough, whatever. Get show enough revenge. That's fine. You can go ahead and do that. But um, if you're
Yo,
going to make it
I
live
like that.
action, I would, it's going to be set in this time period. Me personally, I would go away from all those other characters. I would focus on Timok's character because number one, Timok looks phenomenal. He looks great. He's
He
going to
looks the
translate
same.
well on film. He looks the same. So that's number one. So you can kind of, you could play around with age wise with him because he don't look his age. All right.
Nope.
So I would go away from those other characters a little bit just to kind of get him out. If anything, you have Bruce Leroy. You have Leroy who might, he owns a dojo or a few dojos. Maybe he has a chain of them, you know, or something like that. And like I said, I would do something like that, involve it into some sort of competition, kind of like Jack a little bit of the Karate Kid lore a little bit, and kind of center it around that because then you have a guy that could be, Michael Jai White's character could be a true rival because maybe he's just okay, yeah, we know that you was the ish around here. Maybe he does, even though he owns a couple of dojos, maybe he does still go to Asia. He goes away for a while. And when he comes back, he realizes there's a new kid on the block. You know what I mean? And now dude, what you
I
call his
like that.
dojo has been taken over. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, Michael Jai White's dojo, while you was away finding yourself, I was here getting it in. You know what I'm saying? And now everybody is joined my dojo and I'm taking over, whatever the case. And then it could be kind of like that, like a territorial type of deal. That's what I would do
I
if I
like
was to
that. I
do
like that
it.
one.
You know what I
But
mean? If I was to bring
know what I would
it back
actually
from
do.
New York,
But
and then we still
you know
get
what I would
Asia.
do. I would have like the final fight, how they had it in that warehouse. You know where I actually would have it at? I'd have it in Times Square. With all those other street performances and stuff, like people like they time mocking someone that's fighting, and people thinking that they're putting on a performance, and they start realizing, wait a minute, they're not playing, they're really fighting. It's a real battle going on the streets in New York City in the middle of Times Square. Could you imagine all the people in Times Square watching, but also all the people dressed as cartoon characters stopping to turn around, and they form like a ring, and now you got this full on battle in the middle of Times Square.
Yeah, that would be crazy. I would actually do my final battle. Like I said, I'm stuck on this Asia joint. I think even with that storyline I just said, Leroy is the guy that would always take the high road, so to speak. Maybe him going back to Asia after all of the conflict that's happening. And dude is so obsessed with fighting him, he follows him there, and they actually have their fight there in Asia somewhere. Yeah, I mean, they like almost like, listen, forget. I'd actually go exact opposite. Forget all the cameras, forget all the crowd. I want to beat you. All I need to know that I beat you. That's it. And they have a fight there. You know what I'm saying? In that environment, in the mountains or some shit like that. Something like that. That's where I'd have it. I'd make it where the guy is, even though he went and he might have actually did outshine Leroy's dojos, and he might be the new dude, but that's not enough. For whatever reason, he's obsessed about this guy and he wants to beat him. And it's like, okay, I may even beat you. My dojo might be more successful than yours. But Leroy is the type of guy that could accept that if that's what it is. He's not that type of guy that's gonna want to battle you, battle you, battle you. He's gonna accept because he's all about, at least my students, they are who they are. My students, I train them, they learn from me, and they really respect the craft. This dude is like, no, I want to beat you. I want to fight you. I want to beat you. And that's what I would do. Their final fight would be somewhere in Asia. That's what I do. I take away. I think the hoopla and all of that stuff, the campiness for me has to go away for it to be a good film, in my opinion. That's what I would think. I think the campiness is just not going to translate well in today's age. That's just me, though. But
It would
cool.
definitely flop if it was campy. It just wouldn't. If you're gonna do that, you might as well put it on Tubi with commercials.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, man. Hey, bro. That's what I think. But I like the series idea, or at least make it a mini series and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like you make it a mini series, and then if it's a hit, I mean, it's the same thing with the with the Karate Kid joints. They didn't realize that it was a trial when they did the series when they first started. So then it just gets picked up, and maybe you could do that because then you got more time to tell that story over the with the dojo and the this and the that and blah. And
but I kind of like your idea. I kind of like your idea, Wes. When you cut the camera, that's like what they did with the Fresh Prince. They kept the elements of it.
Yeah,
took all the comedic stuff out, and now you got this deep
Yep.
drama. Well, now we got a straight up martial arts film.
Yeah, straight up martial arts film. Take away the campiness and go with it. I mean, at least we know that we've seen it before, and it has worked so far. It's working for the Fresh Prince. You know what I mean? And even Cobra Kai has that nice, I mean, not that the Karate Kid movies were campy, but I'm just saying, it still has the Cobra Kai has a more serious tone, I think.
Very serious. I love Cobra Kai.
Much more serious tone than the movies itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna like it at all, but it's damn good.
And I love it, man. Let's be honest, bro. Like putting a serious tone on stuff is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Despite some of the bleeding hearts that be like, oh my god, the purest of a lot of different things. Don't get me started on the but anyway, turn on the lights. Don't get me started on that. But yeah, I think if they did it that way, that's cool, man. We're gonna have to call up Demetrius, but put me in touch with Timeout, man. I'm gonna pitch him a dope idea for the for the new film. Let me pitch you this dope idea for the new film. Go straight on with this, and we go that way and rock it out. So anywho, so next week we'll be back, and we'll be able to I'll have all of the songs and stuff put together. I just had a very busy weekend. I wasn't able to round up all of the songs this week to get started on the tournament, but I will have them next week, and we'll be back and we'll talk about that. There was one thing I wanted to mention before we go. I'm trying to say here. I just saw it
I gotta
too.
mention something. I gotta mention something.
Uh,
I took a chance to, and I did watch the Bratz um,
mhm.
documentary.
Documentary.
Right.
Right.
I did enjoy it. However, I got a couple of qualms about it, particularly Andrew McCarthy. Right.
Mm. Go
He
ahead.
does sound like he is really bitter that that article came out because he thinks that it derailed the career of the members of the Brad Pack. My question to Andrew McCarthy is, but what roles were you going after, bro? Because it what I think messes it up is that you show in the video in the documentary other members that are not the Rat Pack. You show Matthew Broderick, you show Tom Cruise, you show Sean Penn. Hell, you got Timothy Hutton in it. If they were
Mhm.
considered brats, or teen actors, they certainly transitioned into much more serious wear. Like when he said at that time Spielberg and Coppola wasn't calling them, but there was a whole lot of other people there around that are just as serious as that time Spielberg and Coppola. Whose scripts were you reading? Because if all your career if you just play romantic teen comedies and you never try to branch further out, that's not on the article. That's on you.
I know that, but you said that last week, even before you saw it, and my answer is the same. Though the roles that you take doesn't necessarily mean those were roles that you necessarily wanted to take. It might have just been that's the whole point of typecasting. It might have just been what was offered. Now let's keep it a buck here. You're growing as an actor. You're up and coming, and yes, those roles were big roles for you at the time. They were leads, but you can't not work. You got to take the work. All right, you can't not work. You're not in a position to say just be turning everything down because it's a rom com, but you still got bills to pay. So we can't expect people to not work. All right. Second of all, uh, if those were the roles that were being offered to him or that he might have been, I'm sure he went on a lot of different auditions and things like that and wasn't getting the roles and trying to get called for certain. That's what he was really was talking about. Yes, you remember there those a group of them, a lot of them, including him, were kind of not doomed to those roles, but they were known as those roles because they were young people playing younger people in the movies, right? They weren't even really playing adults in the movie. They were young people playing either their age or younger than their age. So that just became a thing where people were like, yeah. So I think what he meant by the Coppolas and all of that are not calling that because Coppola was looking for actors that play adults. Coppola's not looking for actors that plays kids. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. So what I think it's more so that I think it's unfair to talk about I think it's unfair to talk about his following roles because we don't know what led to those roles, right? We don't know.
But that's exactly what I'm talking about. Because like you said, Coppola. I mean, did Coppola not do The Outsiders, which has
Mhm.
everybody in it
Yeah,
was that
yeah.
same age bracket?
That was when he was looking for kids, right? And he
That's what he was looking
casted
for kids.
a couple of people from the Brat Pack, but that was before they were
Right.
considered the Brat Pack. That was before that whole thing.
But what I'm saying is that if people were already taking it seriously because now you have this monkey or this nickname which you don't like, the Brat Pack, where they gonna sit and say, well, we took you seriously. Like when Cole said, say, okay, I took Emilio Vesta serious before because he's in The Outsiders, but now because this writer wrote this article, now I can't take him seriously when I've already worked with the guy. You know,
Well, he's
I
worked.
mean, if
He
you,
hasn't. No, I get what you're saying, but once again, and that was just his opinion. But what I'm saying is, I think it's unfair to go by what we've seen when we didn't live his life. We didn't live his
I
career.
agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I
It's
certainly
unfair to
agree.
say, "Oh, stop whining and crying. You got in this movie, you got in that movie," but we don't know what his life was. We don't know what his career was. Maybe he didn't want. his career to go in that direction, but he had no choice because he still has to keep the lights on. Once you become an actor and that's what you do, you're not going to want to go sell cars. You want to act. So you're going to take roles. And if you get offered a role, especially a lead, because after you can say, okay, he stayed into the comedy field because after all of those films as we talked about, the Pretty in Pinks, the Less Than Zeros, he did Weekend at Bernie's, which was a comedy, right? He did two of them
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. He
So
did two of them.
he did two of them, but those were films that he was the lead. They were pretty good, successful films, comedies, whatever. And not saying that he never wanted to do them, but my point is, you we don't know why he did them. I'm sure he did them for the check. That's probably why that's the first reason he probably did it, was for the check. And but getting, you know, maybe he tried for stuff earlier as and you gotta remember also, he's gonna be the one to complain almost more than anybody, except Emilio is pretty bitter about it too. But he's going to be probably one of the more bitter ones because he is, think about his, where he comes from, meaning like he was one of the more serious about the craft. He was a theater actor. You know what I'm saying? He went to acting school in New York. He was theater major and all that. He did he did theater and Broadway and things like that. Like if you do theater in between doing movies, you're an actor and you love acting. You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why he probably looks at it from a different lens, so to speak, no pun intended, where it's like, man, I don't want to just do comedy. I want to be able to do everything because I'm an actor. I want to be able to take on roles that are less, out of the zone that you always see me in, more so. And maybe he just didn't get that opportunity. And I'm not saying that it's all on the, everybody always needs to, everyone needs of someone to point the finger at, even if you a little bit, you know what I mean? And we definitely, just like we talked about last week with Diana Durango on here, uh that guy definitely came from a he came from a direction of jealousy for sure. That's where that article came from, and we're just noticing it because we're putting more eyeballs on it, but they noticed it right away. And it's like, yo, you out here, we out here just living our lives. We're just coming up, and you basically putting it out there like, yo, these cats. If you read the article too, you're like, wow. Like the article
Yeah, he
is
was.
kind of very,
It's the article is rough, and you were unfairly classifying him. I get where he
yeah,
was coming from and say, well, these are actors that young that didn't go to Juilliard or didn't really train, but all of a sudden
right.
they're everywhere. I
And they're
understand that.
everywhere. Exactly. And that was wrong to do that. And he painted a false narrative that these guys are always partying when they're not on camera. He painted that narrative with that article because that was one of the first
Again,
things. Yeah,
that goes to show that goes to show his jealousy and
it's
and
jealousy.
him
Sloppy
and
journalism.
him
Sloppy
and
journalism.
and
Yeah.
not not sloppy journalism. It was on purpose journalism because that was the time and that was the beginning of, and I said this to West off air, that was the beginning, Ralph, of the era of when the Inquirer and the Star magazine, those
Hmm.
tabloids, that's when the tabloids writing that was the era of when the tabloid writing started flowing into mainstream writing and
Yeah.
journalism. So the tabloid journalism,
Mm.
that's where it started to, where the, like, People magazine and all the, and even People magazine, what was back then, was decent because they were who they were back then. But like I said, like the Star, Inquirer, and there was another magazine, tabloid magazine, that
Yeah.
was out around then.
I'm
Those
I'm
trash
I'm a
rags.
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
Yeah,
And this was
trash
in New York
rags.
Magazine, but I'm gonna read a quick excerpt. Now you got me. He says here, uh, it says something like, if Rob Lowe seemed
to be inviting all too much attention from the girls. Judd Nelson acted as though he wanted nothing to do with it. His fame too helped attract them. Like, why you coming at them like this? You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Again,
they
again,
recognize this tough guy looks from his role, the way the kid in his role as the wrong way kid in the Breakfast Club, and sought his attention. So that's the only reason why I said it, right? Then he's like, but Alice sat down, an empty chair next to him. Judd Nelson announced to anyone within earshot, including Alice, there is a line. When someone crosses the line, I get angry, and when someone sits down at the table, they have crossed the line. You can let them get you can let them get close. He looked around at Alice and the swarm of girls, but you can't let them sit down, right? So this is all he's quoting something that Judd Nelson said, I guess, basically. And this art, in certain parts of art, we talk about how Rob Lowe was basically bringing all the girls over. And he said about Emilio Estevez introduced him to some porn star, or I mean, not porn star, like a Playboy model or something like that. And like, so it's just like this dude just sounded like he was sitting there in his feelings and just writing, like, yo, I
again,
can't believe he's like, I can't believe these young MFers is getting all this attention. Like that's
basically, I'm just gonna call it. I'm just gonna call it what it is. And excuse me, YouTube, but it's after 10 o'clock. His pock face, pimple face, bad acne face, ugly ass was looking in a mirror every day, and he was like, I wonder if this is why I get no pussy. Oh, wait a minute. Look at these guys. Oh my God, they're beautiful. The girls are beautiful. The guys are beautiful. What's going on here? And then on top of all of that, here's where the narrative came into play, is because he was probably on the subway one day, and he saw two teen girls with his perv ass, and he was looking at them like, oh, they're cute. And they were probably gushing and going all day about how fine Emilio Estevez was, and how fine this one was, and how fine that one was. And he's looking at himself in the mirror like, well, what about me? Well, what about you?
What
What
about
about
you?
you?
Here's the part where he says this is Hollywood's Brat Pack. It's to the 80s. It's to the 1980s what the Rat Pack was to the 1960s, and involving band of famous young stars on the prowl for parties, women, and a good time. And just like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., these guys work together too. They've carried their friendships over from life into the movies. That is a lie. That's
Flat,
a lie.
flat out lie. Flat out lie.
That's
They
a
didn't even.
flat out
They didn't even.
lie. This
and- and-
dude just told, and that's what I see. Like, that's what I'm saying. So Andrew McCarthy looked at it and said, "Yes, now don't get me wrong. They were all hanging together because they were making films together at the time,
but here's the
and
thing.
they were
They
building
probably could have.
chemistry."
And here's the thing. They probably could have been turned out to be
Friends.
friends, but
Yeah.
because of this dick,
Yeah. Because of this
he
guy,
made sure of that. And I think he knew
yeah.
what he was doing when he wrote that article. He knew what he was doing, because that's
Yeah.
and listen, and anybody who's asked me
Let
what
me
Kevin
finish this.
House,
Let me finish this.
go ahead.
They make major movies with big directors and get fat contracts in limousines. They have top agents and protective PR people. They have legions of fans who write them letters, buy them drinks, follow them home, and most importantly, they sell movie tickets. Their films are often major hits, and the bigger the hit, the more money they make, and the
But
more
isn't
money
that
they
but,
make, the more likes. I'm sorry, the more
like stars they become.
Okay, I gotta. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you. No, I do mean to cut you off. I do mean to cut you off because here's the thing. Because I need to give this context to the people that are listening. You have to listen to everything that he's saying. Everything that
Yeah.
he's saying is what people who work in Hollywood, whether they aspire to be that or not. It's what you become. That's what you be,
Yeah.
that comes with being famous. And what this jackass tried to do in his I got so many words for this fool. In his littleness, he tried to bring them down and at the same time tried to elevate himself, and it did nothing for his career. And he even
Right.
said so in the documentary. He said,
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of thought that this was gonna elevate my career, and it did
Mhm.
nothing. You know why it did nothing? Because the universe has something called karma, and you will never be able to fully build yourself up while pulling other
Right.
people down and it not come back to get you. It's either going to come back to get you right away, or it's going to take some time and it's going to catch up to you, i.e., Diddy, or in
Right.
your case, it was right away. Nothing
Yeah.
happened. You tried to take off and you fell flat on your face.
Last part. Then he goes, okay, the Brat Packers act together whenever possible. Another lie. They know it's not like it just happens that way. And it would be a major achievement for the average American moviegoer not to have seen at least one of their ensemble movies over the past 4 years. Okay, that's fine. So then he starts naming these other films that are considered Brat Pack films, which isn't really doesn't really mean they
Again,
really aren't.
they,
But
they
okay,
aren't,
so then I jump down. Then we
uh,
jump
uh, uh,
down to yeah, because he named The Outsiders, which is not a Brat Pack film, even though
but again,
those
what?
two of them appeared in it, but this was before. That's pre Brat Pack. But let
Yeah,
me
it
let me
was
go back
reback.
down. So then he says Emilio Estevez is the unofficial president of the Brat Pack. And then he puts in parentheses, he's also the unofficial treasurer. Other members seem to forgot their wallets when they go out together, and Estevez usually picks up the check. Uh, and he may get his best notices yet for his role in Saint Elmo's Fire, right? And then he blah 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 blah. And then
I don't like this part that he says the overrated one, Judd Nelson. I don't think
oh
Judd Nelson was ever
well,
overrated.
I
I
mean,
actually
this
I
dude
kind of
been
think he might.
this dude was hating, man. It's like
Yeah.
it's just dude was hating, man.
the
So
the
then he's
one
like,
least
"Oh, the
likely to
hottest of them
replace
all is
Marlon
Tom
Brando.
Cruise." So yeah, right. Then
Again,
he brings up Tom Cruise. He,
it,
he 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 wraps Tom Cruise into it. I get it. Whatever. We all know that Tom Cruise obviously shot to stardom. He wasn't the best trained one. He wasn't even the best actor at the time.
but
You
you
know
know
what I'm
what?
saying?
But here's the
But
thing,
he had
and
the
this
look,
goes
he had the personality, and he shot to the
He had to
top.
drive.
Yeah, and this
I,
is why it all ties back to what I said. He's a freaking hater. He was in his nerd feelings. And people, you're gonna say, "Oh, Kevin, you can't say that word, nerd." Well, you know why I can say that word? Because I'm a nerd. I was a nerd when I was a kid. And I was a handsome nerd. I wasn't. Yeah, I had a little bit of an acne problem, but I knew how to take care of myself and take care of my skin. So that way, when I turned 18, guess what? I had beautiful, handsome skin. And guess what I turned into? A handsome adult. I turned into a non-hating handsome adult, other than this dude who's gonna 20. You're 29 years old. You're 29
yeah,
years old. These kids are five, in some instances, maybe even 8 years. You're 8 years their senior, and you're picking
yeah,
on kids.
yeah. Oh,
And granted, they're still.
he was going in on all of them. And the funny thing is, like I said, these people that were mentioned and stuff like that, but then it took on its own life, right? It just became because just like kind of like what you mentioned last week, Ralph. Yeah, those other actors were no longer being mentioned as the Brat Pack because they didn't just grow up in real life; they grew up in their films.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They started taking on more adult roles, more grown up roles, whereas a big group of the quote unquote Brat Pack was still kind of stuck doing roles where they were young adults that's their age or younger. And meanwhile, the other ones like the Cruises of the world, other people he mentioned in there, Matt Dillon,
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr., Nicolas Cage, these people that they mentioned, these other people, they started taking on other roles. Timothy Hutton, they grew up in roles as along with their age, as opposed to some of the group, Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, even Andrew McCarthy, some of the other ones kind of didn't at first, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, right? And then that's why the whole Brat Pack thing kind of
It's
took
what,
on a life of its own.
but it's what Homegirl said last week, and I'm still gonna say, and I stick with what I said. You are defined by the roles that you take, and whether you grow for them or not. You need as an actor, you need to take it upon yourself to be like, okay, I'm not going to do that type of role anymore. You heard Denzel say it. You've heard Terrence Howard say it. You've heard, and I'm only just sticking with black actors, but I'm pretty sure there are Caucasian actors, there are Spanish actors, there are Latinx actors who have said the same thing. I'm not
But
doing
not
these
not
type of
not all of
roles.
them. Yeah, I agree with you. I hate to cut you off, Kev. I agree with you 100% on that. But what I also want to keep in mind is they were not all in a position right away to quote unquote take or select. I say more select. They could take. They could
Yeah,
decide to take whatever they want.
you're always in a position to
Select.
select what you want.
No,
You're always in a
no, you're
position.
not.
No, you're
You
not.
you
No,
you you
no,
you,
no, you're
you,
not.
you
No,
No,
are.
you're not.
you're
You
not.
No, you're
are.
not. Not in
You're in a
Hollywood. Not in
position
Hollywood.
to
You're not.
accept it. You're in a position to accept it, but you're not in a position to
To
select
get
it.
it.
You're not in a position
Yeah.
to say, I'm gonna be in the next big sci-fi film. That's what I'm that you don't have that
Oh, if that's
choice.
what you mean, if that's what you mean,
That's
yes.
what I mean by select. You are in a position to accept or not or reject. You're
But you
always in
are.
that position,
But here's the
but you're
caveat
not in a
with that.
position to
You
select.
are in a position to put yourself in a position to be selected for that, because just like
No,
Megan,
No,
that's
no,
not.
no,
That's
no,
not.
no.
yes you are, and here's why. Because if your agent is out here doing the work, and your agent, if you happen to ask your agent, well, hey, is there any roles out there that's like this? Is there any roles that are out there like that? Like what happened with this movie, that the recent movie that Megan Good was in. The only reason why Megan Good was able to get into that film is because she put herself in a position to be accepted into the film. She put herself into a position to be taken into the film because she wanted
If
the role.
if if
So
you
you
got
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
said
but
before,
but
you can choose. You definitely have obviously the option to not select but accept or reject a role. However, when it comes to first of all, like I said before, it's unfair to assume that these people had certain pick of the litters of certain things and can do what they want, because Andrew McCarthy is a perfect example. It's obvious that this man is serious about acting. He's a theater actor and stuff like that. But
and
it's
he chose
also
to do a lot of
obvious.
theater.
Wait, no, he didn't choose. It's also obvious that he didn't get a lot of the roles that he probably wanted to get. Because I mean, if you don't think, even especially back then, there's actors today that still say they have to audition, big actors.
yeah.
So if you didn't think that back then they still had to audition, of course they did. They were only most of it. I just watched the because ironically, even though they didn't appear in the Brat documentary, I've been seeing a lot of like Molly Ringwald and they've been doing a lot of cons. So I've been watching that stuff, and really, John Hughes kept them working. It was John Hughes that kept them working. He was,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
he was
but
either
but
putting them, he was either casting them in a film that he was directing, or he even got. I didn't even realize that he wrote Vacation. I didn't even realize he
Yeah.
wrote that.
Yes, he
And
did.
Anthony Michael Hall
said, yeah, before I even met John Hughes, I was in Vacation, and that's a film he wrote. That's how he first saw me. So then he asked me to be in 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, and Weird Science, and all that. So he kept them working. But John Hughes was, had a certain niche that he was working with, was the young youth films. So they kind of fell into that typecast. But going forward, he had an agent, and even in the what you call it, remember the agent was right there. She was in that documentary, and she was like, "Yeah, it's cool." She was saying like, the whole Brat Pack thing. Hey, just embrace it or whatever. He was talking to, was it Laura Shudadana? Who else was
Yeah.
in that? Laura
Well,
Shunadana was like, yeah, I
yeah.
mean, hey, just embrace it. And so, but that doesn't mean that he didn't want to do other roles. And that
But
also doesn't mean that maybe he went for them and just was rejected for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason. Could be just he didn't fit the role. Could be what he thinks, that they're like, oh, don't take him serious. Maybe he just couldn't knock the role out the park. We don't know. But what I'm saying is the roles that he got, it's not fair to assume that he took these roles because he wanted to do them like that. Like, you're an actor and you gotta keep the lights on. You still gotta take the checks. You still gotta, do what you gotta do. And respectfully, although of course Denzel Washington would reject certain types of roles, but let's keep it 100. Denzel Washington has played the same character for 10 years. So, I mean,
as of late, yeah.
I mean, yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, how many Denzel Washington, as good as an actor he is, how many Denzel Washington films we can go back and say, oh, this is so and so here. Oh, it's the same character. He's the same character, just with a little bit of a twist.
He wasn't. He was actually, that's wrong, because he wasn't in the same. He wasn't the same character in the one that he did, the play that he turned into a film. What's it called? What's the name of that, Ralph?
Fences.
Fences. Yeah, he wasn't the same type of character in Fences. If you want to say Equalizer, yeah, that's a franchise. So that
No,
is
that's
what it
different.
is.
No, I'm not even counting Equalizer. I'm not counting. But my point is, okay,
What do you count?
Except for Training Day, obviously he's usually the hero. He's usually the cop. He's usually the law enforcement. That's what I mean by the same type of roles. So other than Training Day, where he stepped away
But that
from
was in the last
the
10 years.
typical role that he is, or whatever, but he's pretty much the
American
same
Gangster.
type of role.
American Gangster.
American Gangster. He played a gangster. That's later in his years. But look at Denzel Washington movies, and how many movies did he play the same type of character? That's all I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
Wait, no, because John Creasy was nothing like what's his face from Ricochet. Those are two different type of characters.
Yeah, but that's a big time gap between John Creasy, and Ricochet. That's a huge time gap.
I mean, what makes Ricochet? Ricochet, he was a district attorney.
Well, he was a cop first, and then he turned
ex-cop, then he becomes a district attorney, right? Okay, so this is what I'm saying: cop, attorney, law enforcement. I mean, most of his roles are that. And I'm not saying to the core of the actual character. I'm not saying character, I'm saying role, which is a difference. He's played a lot of the same type of roles in his career. And that's a fact. So, I mean, he's done with the characters.
But what actor
makes
hasn't?
the change of it with the characters.
But what actor hasn't? You could pretty much say that about every actor, that they pretty much have the same. There only are like a handful that have like a widely diverse of the type of characters that they've played early on in their careers.
Now there's a lot of actors that's played different type of roles, because there's a lot of actors that played villains early in their career too. And then there's some that fall into it, right? Like they're just good villains and they play good. I mean, hell, this might have been the first time I've seen Cillian Murphy not play a villain as in
Villain, yeah.
Oppenheimer, and he's kind of is a villain, but he's not a villain. You know,
No, he's not really a villain because the dude was
he's
just.
not a villain. But I'm just saying that's probably the first time I ever seen him not play a villain because he's a great villain. But neither here nor there. My point is,
But again,
yeah,
but
if
again, but you know what, Wes?
Denzel chose to
That
turn
he's a
down
perfect. But
playing,
Cillian
and
Murphy
he
is a
never
perfect
really played
example.
those roles.
But Cillian Murphy is a perfect example of what you're saying because early on in your career, you don't get typecast, but you find roles that you're comfortable in with doing, and so you stick with that until you find that magic script or that magic
Well,
thing lands in your
or
lap.
that magic collaborator, because let's
Rachel,
keep
right,
it a buck. He
right,
got that role because Nolan loves him, and Nolan knows he's a good
exactly,
actor and know that he could play it.
exactly.
That's why he got the role.
And
So
again,
I mean, but that's
because the
good. He's earned
relationship.
it from playing. He's earned it from playing with Nolan so much. He's earned it. But so that's what I'm saying. So the early Brat Packers, the people of the like McCarthy or whatever, he obviously stuck to the comedy. We don't know if he stuck to the comedy because he wanted to. He might have stuck to the comedy because he had to, or felt he had to, right? So, because if you feel you have to, then you have to. You know what I'm saying? So, because everyone lives their own life and goes through their own thing.
And that's the thing that I want to know too. Like, because they're painting this outside brush, and of course we're all on the outside looking in with each one of our varied opinions. And some of it is based on fact. At the same time, what I want to know is like expounding on what you're saying, like how much of it is, you know, I'm good at comedy. So you know what? This is what I'm good at, and this is what I'm comfortable with. So I'm just going to stick with it.
Well, I
How
mean,
much
I
of
don't
it
think
is that?
I'm just gonna assume if that was the case, we don't even have this documentary because
Well, I'm going to take a.
he's obviously not satisfied with his career outcome.
I'm going
And
to
I'm
take a
not saying
wild
that's the
guess.
only reason why he had that. He's obviously not satisfied. And then if you look at his list, he has I mean, the man's been working all his life. He's been working. But if you look, after they, a lot of them, after they passed the 90s or got mid 90s, their roles went from leads to supporting to even less than supporting, right? It's
But
just working at that point, right?
but at the
So,
same time, it's because of the Hollywood machine too. You think about the stars that came up that they got eclipsed by in the same era
but I
as
mean,
they.
yeah, they did, but yeah, you got the people that came out at the same era that was even mentioned in this same article that blew up. But once again, like I said, everyone's journey is different, right? It's all different circumstances. But like I said, I think because of the roles that they were getting cast in, because first of all of them already came across a little more mature than those other Packers like Anthony Michael Hall and even Molly Ringwald and what's his face, and even John Cryer too. It's kind of like, to me, was a little less immature. I mean, a little more immature than less mature. You got the Matt Dillons and
Even Matthew Broderick was
Ken.
a little bit more
Yeah,
mature.
right. Matt Dillon, Sean Penn, and all these other people that they mentioned, Cruz, they already felt like a little more mature. You could even say Patrick Swayze if you use him from the outsiders. They were more mature already. They were, a little older, whatever. So all I'm saying is, I mean, we can't speak. I look
You
at it
know
like
what?
this: the man made the man made the documentary because he obviously wanted to get other people's perspectives on it because
He
he
wanted
has
his 15
obviously
minutes of
hurt.
fame. He's hurt, and he wanted his 15 minutes of fame. And
I
and
no,
I
and
mean,
I can't agree with
and
that. I can't agree with
but
that.
wait, hold on, I'm not
yeah.
finished. And I think the major part of it was I think he really wanted to, and I hate the fact that he didn't. I really wish he would have laid into that reporter a lot more heavier than he did. I really don't think he gave him the
I think he
business.
just didn't want to. He didn't want to come across.
as
He
bitter.
wanted to hear him out. Yeah, he wanted to hear him out. He wanted because he had never met him, right? So he wanted to hear him out and hear his side. I mean, I get it. I wanted him to lay into him more too, but I do respect him for what he did.
But
Just
you know
sit
what?
there.
After hearing what he said, I would have been like, okay, that was your reasoning, okay, and just
Yeah,
and I listen. He everything that we just said just now is what would
yeah,
have came out of my mouth because
yeah.
at that point, how much because you at that point you've been able to assess exactly now if we were able to do it. I never read the article. I only know about the article from watching the documentary. And so
Yeah.
we were able to, and I spoke to you, Wes, the next day after watching it.
Hmm.
And I didn't
Yeah.
even really give it that much thought. And
And
I was
before
able to
you
come
ever
up.
look at the article, we was already able to be like, "Yo, this nigga hating."
Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
like it shouldn't have been. It should have been, and it should have. And I do take back what I said, Ralph, because you are right about that part. I'm just taking low ball punches because I can because it's low hanging fruit. Um, at the same time, and I think also because I'm mad at him for not. If you're that hurt by something, you don't let the person that caused you hurt slide. Even if you even if you do it in a politically correct manner, even if you want to
Hmm.
take the Michelle Obama route and you want to take the high road, there's a high road to where you could still do everything that we said on a high road and still
Hmm.
paint him in the light that he needed to be painted in. Because I still think
Yeah.
that this was the opportunity for that dude to get the egg in his face that he deserved to get in his face. And now the only thing he got from this was the publicity that he always wanted.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, but he.
I think at this
Mhm,
point, when you're saying she
mhm,
lays on, at this point,
mhm.
laying into him now does you no good because now you do come off as extremely bitter, resentful.
But because you
So
are
to
bitter.
lay, I understand it, but see, the thing is that laying into him now in 2024 is a whole lot different than laying to him in 1986. It's
But
a
we're
whole
throwing
lot different.
but again, and Ralph, I definitely hear you. And you know what? If we were 24 years old, if we were all 24-year-olds on an equal standing, that would totally fly. But because they are the age that they are and the period that it happened in, it would be
Mhm.
warranted. And again, like I said, he didn't have to be as abrasive as I'm being about it. But there is a way that he could have laid questions into him, and then there could have been a rhetoric that could have came after that. After dude said what he said, it could have been like, oh, and he did try to do it, but the dude deflected with being like, well, well, and
Yeah, I mean, he was being real. He was trying to be like.
He's trying to get
I
it over
think
with.
I think honestly that guy really didn't believe anything he said or felt what he said. I think he said a few things that he thought Andrew wanted to hear so he can make the documentary.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
be honest
like
with
I
you.
said, he wanted this was the second chance for him to get
Mhm.
his name out there on lights. And now, don't be surprised if a book don't come.
Yeah.
Watch.
I wouldn't be surprised. He could say, the Brat Pack from my perspective or something like that or whatever. Now he can kind of do his little, I didn't mean for it to turn out that way. I don't think I came from an angle of malice or whatever. That's not what I intended. I was just trying to
Yeah,
be
bro,
funny,
you really no,
And,
no,
and,
no.
and
I
because
get
and because
if I just take this one piece right here, when you bring in Tom Cruise, I mean, you were right about Tom Cruise, you were right about Rob Lowe, you were
Yeah.
dead wrong about Nelson, you were right about
Mhm.
Hutton. The least likely
Mhm.
to replace Marlon Brando, nobody can do that one. So you were wrong about Dylan. The ethnic chair, I get that because he's Coppola's nephew, okay. But then you get the most gifted of them all, Sean Penn. Yeah, he probably was because but I think he's probably the first one out of that team to really stand out into something that was totally out of his comfort zone. But bro, the bulk of this article that you wrote here, you're putting down people because that had an opportunity, they roll with it, and if you sit back and I think in his mind, if he sit back and say, well, I wrote this article, but now let's take a look back at what I wrote. Was I this because he kept saying, was I essentially right with what I wrote? Did you all live up to the potential that you thought that everybody assumed that you had? Did you live up to the potential? No. If you look at that, then the answer to that question is no. None of you lived up to the potential that you had. But now the question is that because of my article, or is it because you weren't as talented as the press, Hollywood fans made you out to be? That's the bigger question right there.
But you know what? And you know what his rebuttal should have been to that is the work speaks for itself. I have classic works. I have classic films that my name is attached to. What is your name attached to? See, this is where.
Wait. Hold up.
See,
Hold up. Wait. Hold up. Before you say that part, and I'm just gonna say with Andrew McCarthy, beyond saying almost fire, he's not really attached to anything else that's really memorable. I mean, Mannequin is memorable, but it's memorable more for King Cattrall, right?
Yeah, true.
But most people, most people
the
forgot about
star,
Class. Less Than Zero, yeah, but Less Than Zero, even though he was the top bill, that's really Robert Downey Jr.
And James Spader.
And that's what I said. Right. And that's what I said last week.
Like I said, you had his other comics, Pretty in Pink. You had Pretty in Pink. You had
but like
the Weekend at Bernie movies.
Crap. But what I said was, like I said last week, if that article was about the Brat Pack, but he coined different people in it, would we still be having this same discussion? And he McCarthy kind of alludes to that fact.
He did coin some people, but remember, the funny thing is the other people that he coined as part of Hollywood's Brat Pack really didn't become. The Brat Pack took on its own life, because as you can see, if you look up the quote unquote original Brat Pack, and none of those guys he mentioned are in it, except for Judd Nelson and Judd Nelson, Emilio, and what's his face? But Sean Penn, this, that, and they're not in.
Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, Tom
none
Cruise.
None of them are in the Brat Pack. But we all, because we grew up in the 80s, we automatically lump them together.
Automatically.
We automatically lump together because we grow up. But I'm telling you right now, the name Brat, I think the Brat name kind of, once again, these other guys grew up in their roles. They weren't considered, the brats. They weren't considered kids anymore. And a lot of the roles that they took right after those few roles when they were younger, right? So whereas the other actors still were doing the rom-coms, the this, the that, which kind of they were playing their self-age or younger. And I think that's what kind of grouped that whole thing, because he never mentioned Molly Ring. Well, he never mentioned any of the women. He never mentioned Anthony Michael Hall, but they got grouped into quote unquote the original Brat Pack. There's a reason for that. It's because they're you know what I'm saying? Not just because they played in a bunch of movies together, but also because they played in a bunch of the same type of movies together from the same director or writer. Even if he wrote Pretty in Pink, he didn't direct it, but he wrote Pretty in Pink.
Or because they were handsome, they were successful in the time,
and
because
still young looking too.
Still young looking. Here he was.
Remember,
a
Cruz,
20. He was a 29.
They didn't look. They looked older than what their ages was. Sean Penn looks old to me. He always looked old. Sean Penn never looked young.
And Sean Penn, listen, and let's keep it a buck. Sean Penn looked old. That's why he was able to date Madonna. But also, Sean Penn was doing a lot of heavy drugs. and that just ages you. If you're Caucasian, that just ages you. I'm sorry. As you know, certain drugs just make you look old. I'm sorry. Cocaine, as fashionable as it is, it doesn't really tighten up the skin that much. It gives you bags under your eyes.
Right.
Cocaine just ain't
And
anyway.
that's another thing. Once you look, Anthony Michael Hall had that baby face for the longest. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Matthew Broderick was another one.
Matthew Broderick also had the baby face. Well, that's why, let's be honest, it was hard to take him serious in Glory. He just still looked like
He
Ferris
looked like a
Bueller
kid.
with a fake
He looks
mustache.
exactly. He looks and still sounds like a kid. He has no bass in his voice. And
Yeah,
and
man,
and, and this is what
he looked like
and
Ferris
this goes
Bueller with a fake mustache.
yeah, and this is why it goes back to my point that Homeboy was an old 29-year-old, a bitter 29-year-old that didn't get enough coochie in his late teens and early 20s. Here he is approaching his 30s, still living alone. You're doing your thing because you got a career. You're a writer at the New York Times. In the 80s, who could that was like gold in the 80s. Whether it was paying gold or not is another thing, but you're at a celebrated and just the fact that your article was your trash piece was presented in the New York Times says everything about the age of the 80s and what and how well the word and again and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to put a racial spin on it, but this is what comes with it. It goes to show you how the media and just the name of the New York, just because his name as a writer was attached to the platform of the New York Times, gave his article credence that made people in Hollywood that knew better to be like, oh, wait a minute, this is what the critics are saying. We need and again, this goes back to the power. This goes back to the power of the critics. In the 80s, in the 70s, and specifically
Especially
in the
back
70s
then.
and the 80s, the power of the critic was everything. So it's not that surprising that Hollywood would take what he's not even a critic, but because he's a writer at a celebrated, and I'm not going to quote because he's not a celebrated writer. The paper was a celebrated paper that people every morning, even me on occasion, have picked up and paid my little 75 cents to get while going on to get on my train in the morning to go into Manhattan or whatever you want to go do. Everybody picked up the New York Times, and some people had 2 or 3 newspapers tucked under their arms. But the New York Times was one of them. So it's not a stretch that Hollywood is going to be like, oh, this is what the New York Times is saying. Maybe we might need to listen to that. And that should have been the time for Hollywood to pivot, to be like, are we letting the critics dictate us, or are we the filmmakers? Which one is it?
Yeah,
Well, I
I think
can't float with that one because Hollywood, particularly Hollywood, lives in a monkey see, monkey do attitude. I mean, no matter who it
Yeah,
is.
and that's my point, Ralph. That's my whole
But
point.
what I'm saying is there have been many times people have been associated with stuff, and even if you didn't like the monkey that was attached to you, once it sticks, it sticks. I mean, not for nothing. When Shyamalan did The Sixth Sense, did they not say that this is the next Spielberg? I mean, think about that. Like this is the guy that you got to be better than Steven Spielberg. That's a lot of pressure for you to live up
Yeah,
to.
but it is, Ralph. But guess what? But here's the thing, Ralph. But because they wrote that, what is Hollywood still doing to this day? Putting money behind who? M. Night Shyamalan.
It doesn't matter because if
No,
that's the
it does,
case,
but it does matter. Well, because
wait a minute,
look at it like
wait a
this,
minute,
Ralph.
wait a
Go ahead,
minute, Kevin,
go
wait a
ahead,
minute. If
go ahead.
if you say that, well, they still put money behind Shyamalan, then what Wes said is right. If you look at all those actors that were in the Brad Pack, their careers, you can clearly see they have all worked. They don't have like a big like the last thing they did was 1990, and it's 2024, and they haven't done anything since then. They've all done stuff. They may not have done the stuff that they would have liked to have done, but they have had consistent
Still
work.
had a career.
Yeah,
still had a
But
career.
exactly. And but that's kind of sort of my point. Is even if you want to use M Night Shyamalan in that reference, he's and really that doesn't work for him because he's a director. So director that falls under a whole nother preview of that than actors, because actors are more so dictated by popularity. But there's a whole lot of other factors that factor into actors. Directors are it's who Hollywood really wants to mess with, and who starts to make a name for themselves. Shyamalan has made a name for himself in Hollywood to where he's an established director. So they're always going to put money behind him, regardless of what the critics say or don't say. And the fact that they said early on that this is going to be the next Spielberg, that Hollywood is going to get behind that to make it happen,
Well,
because they believe it, and
it turns
obviously
out
they
that
believe it.
that was wrong. He was not the next Spielberg. I
He
mean,
wasn't the
obviously,
next Spielberg, but
Right.
he is still making movies.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he makes movies. We know that. Um,
You know
that's
what?
all I'm
I
gonna
can't with
say.
you, Wes.
I can't say nothing nice about him. Yeah, he sure makes movies.
Yeah, he makes movies. God, the
He makes
season,
movies.
the seething
Now,
sarcasm
frankly,
behind that.
frankly, if you were to ask
I
me
should
who
have
was the
known I
next
couldn't
Spielberg,
squeeze that past you,
no,
Kev, without you.
I would have been
I
quicker
should
to
have known
say
I
Tarantino or Nolan after
Right.
Spielberg, one of those two guys, not M Night. And I think if I was writing that article, I don't think I would have gave particularly Charlemagne with Jnathan that he makes one really great movie and you're dubbing him the next Spielberg. It's not like it was
But
three or four
everyone
down the
does
line.
that.
It
That's
was
the
one.
mistake that everybody does, though.
But I get that. But
To be
think
fair,
about this.
they all do that. Everyone's looking for the next someone.
Agreed. But think about
Every
this.
person that comes into. I mean, look at the situation with everything, even with sports. Everyone's the next Jordan. Everyone's the next. If you're white, you're the next Bird. Like you're always the next someone
Well,
that's
or the
great.
next
They
Caitlin
always want to.
Clark.
They always want right. Yeah, with Caitlin Clark, she's just the greatest since whatever, right?
Don't even get me started on that chick. Don't even get me started
No,
on
no,
that
no.
chick. That's
It's
a whole
funny
that's a
because
whole nother story.
no,
That's a whole nother story.
that's a whole nother show, which I
The
am
show.
gonna do because I always catch heat from these Caitlin Clark. I call them the Caitlin Clark cult. Uh, you know, because they're dubbing her the GOAT, and I'm like, come on, how can you? I said it's physically impossible for someone who's never won anything on any level, has never won any championships on any level, to be the GOAT of anything, just because she is a great player and she has great
Well,
potential to become
she's a
a really
collegiate
good
goat.
player.
No,
Yeah.
she's not.
Well, I
No,
mean,
she's not.
not the GOAT because she ain't never won no
She ain't
championship.
won a
Oh, that's true.
championship.
Too. Yeah. That's right. I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
she
Yeah, no
she's she
championship.
she holds records. She
But
holds
she ain't the
records,
GOAT.
but she ain't the GOAT. But my point is, everyone wants to compare greatness or something to greatness. So yeah, they goes, they're gonna pick the highest guy instead of saying Shyamalan's the great, the next whatever. They're gonna say that he's the next Spielberg. I mean, like, gee, they're just going for the top of the food chain, you know.
And
Um,
instead of just saying
but they
M Night
tried to do that. They
Shyamalan,
tried to do that with what's his face too. Like they tried to do that with Abrams. They tried to do it with
yeah,
Abrams
yeah,
because Abrams
they wanted,
actually came
they
under
really
his
wanted to
wing.
do it with Abrams. They really
They
wanted to
really
do it with
wanted to do
Abrams.
it with Abrams. Yeah,
and,
they
and I
wanted to do it
love
with Abrams.
and I love the way that Abrams took himself. The same and M Night Shyamalan did the same thing. It kind of took himself and be like, no, listen, you're trying to put this label on me, but I'm not gonna let you condition me into being this. And even in Abrams, even though he was trained under who he was trained under, he still made the name for himself. Because now,
Yeah,
when you think J.J. Abrams, you don't think anybody else. You just think Abrams.
you just think Abrams. Yeah. So I mean, he's kind of made his own. And I tell you, I recommend everybody out there. J.J. Abrams has a TED Talk that he did is excellent. It's kind of old now, but if you look up TED Talk and look at J.J. Abrams' TED Talk, it's an excellent TED Talk. I watched a lot of those when I was in college and stuff like that, and those are really nice and insightful. But anyway, check out, look up TED Talk and look for J.J. Abrams TED. I don't remember what the title of it was, but just look for J.J. Abrams TED Talk. It was very very good. He's a very interesting dude. Like when he talks about filming, I love listening to filmmakers that really respect and love the craft and really know what they're talking about from a technical and ideological standpoint. Even if you may not love all their films, you may not love, and that's what I say. I'm about to say something nice about M. Night Shyamalan. I think M. Night. I
Hold up.
think M. Night Shyamalan.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. I think he's one of the biggest out of box thinkers in filmmaking. That I will say. And I give him
Agreed.
credit for that. That is a compliment. He is one of the best out of box thinkers in filmmaking when it comes to conceptual stuff. Also, when it comes to presenting his stuff, when it comes, especially with trailers, right? So he never really ever cuts a bad trailer. That's for sure. I mean,
You tell me one ever.
No,
Even if
I
you didn't
can't
like
think
the
of none.
movie, even if you didn't like the movie, his
might have loved the
trailers.
trailer, which is why you end up not liking the movie
Hey,
because you love the
listen, man, that his trailer for Last Airbender got me to go see it. It was trash, but the trailer made me want to go see it. Just saying.
But he got
I'm
you
just
out
saying.
there.
He got me.
So I mean, he
I
doesn't
got
physically cut them,
Shyamalan.
but I'm sure he has something to do with the trailers being cut because it's
I
just not a
can't
coincidence that
even say
all
that.
his
I can't even
trailers.
sit there and say that. I can't sit there and say that he don't cut the trailer because he probably does it so that it gives away not what's really the movie is about, but makes you say,
I'm sure he has influence, even if he don't physically cut them. He has influence on them, definitely.
Yeah, he definitely has
Because
a
I mean,
say.
a lot of times you let the editors cut trailers, but yeah, I mean, he's definitely has influence on the trailers because it's not a coincidence that all his trailers are really good, what I'm saying? And all his trailers give away not a lot, and they're still
Not
good.
a lot of nothing because you sit down and what's the movie about? I don't know.
I don't know. I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
It just looks good. I'm just gonna go watch it.
It's a bunch of people in this old village. It's a bunch of people in this old village, and there's a monster.
Right.
It's a guy dressed as a lady that's got three girls tied to a pole. I don't know what the hell is this about, but she's talking in a British accent.
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
Yeah, no. So he's one of the
And he
best
knows
out
how
of
to
box.
cast West. That's the other thing. M. Night
He does.
Shyamalan knows how to cast for his movies. He's a very
I'm gonna stick with he's a good out of box thinker. And we go and that's
He
it.
ain't
You're
getting
only
two.
getting that out
He
of
ain't
me.
getting two. He ain't getting two.
We gonna stop there while we ahead.
He ain't getting two.
I have to say, outside of James Wan and Wes Clark, M. Night Shyamalan is one of my favorite directors. I like it. Doesn't matter whether the movie is trash or not, and he does have some stinkers out there.
Some.
I will. He has two
They
stinkers
all
out
have
there.
some. Everybody has some. No one's perfect. I get that.
So far, only got Nolan.
But he's not a Shyamalan, though. I will always fight that. That title, M. Night Shyamalan. That was a good tagline too. M. Night Shyamalan. He's gonna sham us again. the Shyamalan. I just don't. I don't subscribe to that. But M. Night Shyamalan's my man. He's my dude.
All right. So, Cat, wait a minute. So you go into movie theater, right? You got a movie by Shyamalan, a movie by Tarantino, and a movie by Nolan. Who you seeing first?
Oh shit! Fuck you,
For
Ralph.
me, it's Tarantino. I mean, he's one
Oh
of my
fuck you,
favorites.
Ralph.
I might go with Nolan. I'm taking Nolan.
Yeah. Ralph,
first
Ralph,
because
you already know what it is because Nolan is going to be out of the three of them. Tarantino is my least favorite director, and Nolan would
reverse
be.
for me. I think Tarantino is he's one of my favorites,
because
And he's a
I
good.
love Nolan.
Tarantino's a good director. I
I
just
love
don't.
Nolan too, but I think I guess it depends on the film, but at the same time, I know if I see Tarantino, I'm gonna see rawness. I'm gonna see, like you see Nolan most of the time, you're gonna see, most of the films, at
All of
least
that.
as of late, that he was gonna make. You're gonna see, I mean, most of that stuff, you're gonna see a lot of effects. You're gonna see big movies, right? When you
Yeah,
see
but
Nolan,
no, but you're gonna see rawness, and you're gonna see realism, and you're gonna see intelligence, and that's what I love
yeah.
about Nolan. Nolan
You'll
is a
see
very
intelligence for sure.
intelligent director.
I don't, rawness and realism. I didn't get
Well,
any
because
of
he
that
does,
from
because he
Tenet. I didn't
bases.
get rawness or realism from Tenet, but
What
it
about
just to
Dunkirk?
me, it just
What
wasn't
about
that.
Dunkirk?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Dunkirk is a war film, so yeah, of
Yeah.
course, I said there's a type of film. So whatever he does is big. Tarantino, even when Tarantino has the backing of Hollywood, and he puts a
you know,
lot of money into his films, but Tarantino's films, even when they're major studio films, still feel like independence in a way.
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
That's
no, but
I
there,
agree.
no,
I
no, no,
agree.
no, 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 no,
yes.
nope, nope, nope. There's one exception. Actually, there's two exceptions to that. Django, and specifically The Hateful Eight. There was nothing small or indie feeling about The Hateful Eight. That was the most beautiful. Like, oh my God, I got goosebumps right now, even talking. My
I
eyes are
mean, so
tearing up
yeah, but
talking
he
about it.
he always likes that. But even the reason why I say that is because to a degree, but to a degree, it still felt that way because number one, he shot it on film. That's not what I'm saying. So, and he shot it digitally on film originally. The cut of that. So right out the gate, you feeling like old school.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
feeling
but he
more.
shot it
Yeah.
in
You know
super.
what I'm
What's
saying?
call it?
Right.
What's that? Super. What was that? He
Super
shot it in.
16.
You shooting
Super
35
16.
millimeter?
It was seven. No, it was the
I
one
thought it
It's
up
was
from that
70.
Super
route.
No, it's
16.
70. It's 70
70,
millimeter.
70,
70
yeah,
It's 70.
millimeter.
70.
Yeah.
That's what he shot it. Yeah,
70 millimeter.
that was
Yeah.
the most. I swear to God,
I
when I
mean,
saw
you can
that,
tell.
oh my
But
God,
no
yeah,
one. That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I mean by he has the spirit of an indie filmmaker because he is. He's come from that,
but
and
but
he's never left that
but
spirit
but
out of pretty much any of his movies.
no,
You
no,
understand?
but see, but here's the thing with Tarantino. Tarantino, he does have the spirit of an indie filmmaker,
Yeah.
but he has he has the soul, or I should say, he has the body. He has the body of an indie filmmaker, but he has the spirit and the soul of a VHS tape and 70 and
Yeah,
real
classic
and real
filmmaker. Yeah.
film.
I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna say that.
Real
I'm
film.
gonna tell you. Nah, you know what he got the soul of? He got the soul of the clerk at Blockbusters that
Yeah,
said, "This is what I want to see." I'm gonna
yeah,
be
This is
honest
what I
with you.
want to see.
This is what
This
yeah.
I
is what
want to
it
see.
is. And he the clerk
I'm
at
in here all day.
Blockbuster that watched like every film that was ever in there.
Like I'm sitting
And
in.
it's like
He
and
he's the
imply
clerk
and
that's
implies
sitting
and
there in
applies it
Blockbusters.
to his stuff.
But he's the
Yeah.
clerk at Blockbuster saying, "I'm sitting in this place all day. I'm taking out that Blockbusters tape that they got us watching with all the Blockbuster commercials. I'm putting in this tape in there. I want to see that you guys are not renting for the five for five special. That's what you need to see this movie. That's what he is. And no disrespect, I love Tarantino's work. He is awesome, but me it's going to right now is going to be Nolan. Nolan has yet to make a bad movie. He really hasn't.
Not
Tarantino really
one.
hasn't made. Tarantino hasn't made a bad movie. The Hateful Eight, you might say, is a little slip up in there, or maybe
Not
you could say
what?
Death Proof.
You're bugging. There's
No, no,
nothing to
I said
slip up about the Hateful Eight. There's no, 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 no. No, no, no,
He's
no,
not, you're
no.
not gonna
Ralph,
you're not
you
gonna
my
get me to
man.
say
You
anything
my
bad
man,
about
100 grand, Ralph. I love you. You my man, 100 grand. But that, no, 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 no. Not the
well,
Hateful Eight.
the reason I say that Hateful Eight is might be a little slip is because it's not the one that he was originally going to do because it got leaked, so he changed it around a little bit. Who knows what the original one was could have been? That's why I say slip. Or if
Okay.
you want to say a bad movie he did was maybe Death Proof, but look at the rest of it. And Death Proof is not a bad movie, but if you want to say that's the one because I didn't see it because you didn't go see Grindhouse, okay. But Tarantino, as of yet, has not made a bad film, at least to
No,
me. None of
nope.
them.
Not one.
And him and Nolan are the only two guys directors I can legitimately sit to say, I don't think you guys have made a bad film. They not always got to be $600 million grosses, but you don't have to have movies that can't make
And
it
if you want
600
to say
million.
Nolan's worst film is the third Batman, and to me, I thought it was great, except for Christian Bale's the horrible Batman voice. But you know, aside from that, you know,
Yeah,
I totally,
I mean, I can say Nolan. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I want to get on board with that. I think I get on board with it, with exactly with the caveat that Kev just said. With the except his worst film is probably The Dark Knight Rises. That's probably his worst film to date, and that's a pretty good damn thing if that's your worst film.
worst
You know what
film.
I'm saying?
It still made
If that's
almost
your
$1
worst
billion,
film,
and they
then
made it my
you
worst film.
doing it right. If that's your worst film, all together, then yeah, you're
I'll
doing
take
a good
that.
damn job.
I'll take
Yeah,
that.
I'll take that any day. Anybody will take that. Any director that's been out there and had flops will take that any day of the week. So how about this, fellas? Before we go off the air, because we ran over time, of course. But since we just talking about that, why not let's match them up in a versus.
Here we go. Oh boy, here we
Let's
go.
match them up in a versus 10 and
Yeah.
10. It's only because Tarantino only got 10 films, so he don't even have 10 really. He has 9, but then you can
He got
count
9.
what he did with Sin City. I don't know if that's counted. He directed in that too. So I don't think that's part of his 9.
I don't think
No,
that's
no,
not part of his
it's
9.
not because he gave
It's part of his 9 because it's not. Yeah,
Rodriguez $1 or something like that. I can't
yeah.
remember how it worked, but yeah,
Rodriguez paid him $1. Yeah, he
yeah,
charged him $1 to come and direct in Sin City.
yeah.
See, I don't think that's fair because depending on the matchups that you give me, I mean, four of Nolan's movies is outright. You no matter which Tarantino pool you vote, you're not beating the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. I don't think you beat Inception. I don't think you beat Oppenheimer.
Inception was the
And
first
maybe
thing that came to
Memento.
my mind.
And maybe Memento. Or I'm sorry, Insomnia.
Shit. Which wait, you know what? Yeah, this might be a valid versus to where Quentin Tarantino might become invalid, because just Memento alone. What do you put up against Memento from Tarantino?
Well, either way, their matchup is going to be completely oddball matchups. There's no comparison. They're two completely different filmmakers. I'm
Yeah,
just saying
and
it would be
two
fun
different
to
styles of
just go
filmmakers.
against it. You just completely different style of filmmakers, but you have to judge them on the films themselves. The story, the storytelling of it
I
all.
mean, the closest
That's what
thing
you
you
have to
can
really
get to match up for that would be the Samuel L. Jackson John Travolta film with Bruce Willis,
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. That's
Yeah,
I mean
Tarantino's like I said, Tarantino always feels like to me, he always feels like an independent. He always has that spirit of the independent film. And on top of that, he is a classic film lover. He's always writing love letters to Hollywood. Like that's just what he is.
That's just who he is.
You know what I mean? That's who he is,
Yeah.
But anyhow, we'll figure it out. We're gonna start doing the verses again though with different because
It's a good verses. It's a good verses.
I mean, it's a good verses, but it's a verses that
that Nolan's gonna
it's
win.
good, right? No, I mean it's good, but I mean it's really you have to really look at it. It's hard at the same time. It's good, but it's difficult because they're so different. It's easy to make a versus with two directors that are the same. It's easy to do a versus of actors are the same. De Niro and Pacino, that's a no-brainer versus. But if you put De Niro
it just
up
boils
against
down to
somebody
which
else,
ones are the better films. It
yeah,
boils down to which movie. Whereas with Nolan and
which we really have to
Tarantino,
because we really have to break down
the break down the films to do that versus to make it fair, because I mean Nolan grossed more money than him, most definitely. We already know
But
that, so that can't even be a
let's not.
factor.
I'm not even talking about the money side of it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
just
Yeah.
and see, and
Film, just film.
again, it's just it's just this. It's two opposite sides of the spectrum in scope. Where
Mhm.
Nolan is grand, like just taking Inception for itself, which is just a
Mhm.
total mind screw, and
Mhm.
then you have Tarantino over here with Kill Bill, which
Mhm.
is still a mind screw, but it's a beautiful, well executed
It's more, I think
mind
it's
screw
more
of
so.
revenge.
I think Tarantino really does. Ultimately he would lose probably to Nolan, but I think that Tarantino, where he has an advantage, is his approach to films, the way the fact that he chose to make that approach in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Remember when we first heard about it, we thought he was going to go hardcore and actually
And
tell the real story.
I thought he was going to
I
Sharon
did
Tate.
too. I did
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I thought he was gonna really go hardcore and tell the actual Manson story, with that whole thing
And
going on.
I'm so
And
glad he didn't, because I wouldn't have been
I'm
ready. The
glad he
way
didn't too.
the
I ain't
way
gonna
he
lie. I'm
told us.
glad he didn't. And normally I would have been like, yo, just if you're gonna go there, go there. But at the same time, the way he did
Mm-mm,
it was a
that
very tasteful choice. The way he did it.
but even with that story, he could have did it, and it wouldn't have messed up the story, but that's all you would have been left with. And I think
That's all
that's
you've
the
been left
reason.
with. Yeah.
I think that's the reason. In my opinion, I think that's the
Yeah.
reason why he left it out, because there was more
Yeah.
substance to that story than
Right.
even that BS that he
And
wrote
look at his
about the
approach.
stuntman beating
Yeah.
Bruce Lee. That was some bullshit. But
Even with him, but even if you think about his approach with Django, you know, would anybody else have approached it like that? You know what I'm saying? Especially a non-black director, would any other non-black director would have approached it the way he did?
Ben Stiller
At
would
one
have
point.
did it.
Who?
If Ben Stiller would have been able to open his mind that far into liking westerns like that and going into that type of film, or slave films like that, I think Ben Stiller
But it would
probably
have
would have
been
been
more
able to
funny.
pull.
It would have been a little
Yeah, it would have
more
been. Yeah, it would
comedy
have
if
been a
he
comedy
did it.
fest. Yeah,
It would have been a little more comedy if Stiller would have did it. Um, but yeah, like I said, it would have to be overall approach. The fact that obviously Tarantino writes all of his films, and Nolan writes most of his, but his brother writes a lot of his films too. So they
but
write together.
the thing about them that's the same. The thing about them that's the same is that they're both risk takers. They're
Yeah,
both. What is that?
risk takers in different ways. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're both risk takers in different
Yeah.
ways. What I like about Nolan is, obviously, when you talk about approach, Nolan's approach to the character of Batman was something that no one else was doing. That's why he ended up getting the award, right? He approached it from a realistic standpoint. Ralph, you blasting your TV on air, right? So,
No, I'm not.
oh, someone's blasting. Oh, is that Kev?
No, that's Ralph.
That ain't me. That's not me.
Yeah, it's coming from you. I hear your TV, bro. Anyway, we're ending the show now. Peace out, everybody.